There we go. We're back again with a new round of movie. This time we're talking about The Craft. And again, here with me, Jamie, novice movie buff reviewer type person. We got Darren over here, who is also drinking Guinness and reviewing movies as a professional actor. And Derry, up at the top left-hand side. And she'll be drawing a fantastic picture for us today. And today, it is Derry's suggestion for a movie. Last week, we had my suggestion, which, you know, is pretty good. Pretty good. Existence. You should check it out. It's on our YouTube channel, and it's actually on Twitch as well, which we're on at the moment.
Yep.
And then the week before that, we had Spider-Man, which was pretty awesome. Everybody enjoyed Spider-Man. You know, Tobey Maguire being the Spider-Man, if I think we all agree.
Yes.
And then the week before that, we saw The Crow. And you know what? The movie today will make me talk about The Crow yet again. I think that's going to be my bar for all of the rest of the movies that we probably talk about is the Crow. I'm going to keep coming back to it. But this week, we're doing stuff a little bit differently. I'm going to read a little bit about the movie, give us a little bit of tension, a little bit of mood about what's going on, and then we'll have a general chat about it. You know, you can get involved on Twitch, get involved on YouTube, comment down below. It's all in good fun, and maybe you can make a movie suggestions. Sometimes we sit here for 5-10 minutes at a time arguing about what movie to review, but suggest movies. We would love to get you involved downstairs. So this week we're talking about The Craft. And that's not like the crafting of beer. It's not like crafting of baskets. This is the craft of witches in the 90s. Movie made in 1996. Little summary. A newcomer to a Catholic prep... I know, right? I was really excited when I started reading this myself. A newcomer to a Catholic prep high school falls in with a trio of outcast teenage girls who practice witchcraft, and they all I know, right? They all soon conjure up various spells and curses against those who anger them. And I want to thank IMDb for that lovely description. That's a bad summary of the movie, in my opinion.
Very bad.
It's starring Robin Tunney. Am I pronouncing that right? Robin Tunney as Sarah Bailey, which is the protagonist. We got Fairuza Balk as Nancy Downs, which I actually like this actress. She's pretty good. Neve Campbell as Bonnie. Neve Campbell. Oh yeah. Neve Campbell. And then Rachel True as Rochelle. And then we have Skeet Ulrich as that rapey guy. As Chris Hooker. There you go.
But he was that rapey guy in Scream as well. He was like that.
Maybe he must have this theme of being a rapey guy. Like he's an agent, hands out like thing. This is the guy. He'll do all the rapey scenes.
Yeah, imagine if that was your typecast.
He's not comfortable with that.
It's like, I need a rapey guy. Let's get this guy.
Yeah.
Let's get Skeet in. Let's get him.
So,
and like, did his parents name him Skeet? Is that a name?
That is a name, like Skeeter.
Oh, right,
hey,
Skeeter. Oh.
Hey, Doug.
Okay, cousin Skeeter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the film, The Craft. I thought this film was not too bad. What did it remind me of? It's like a coming of age story, equivalent to like a Stephen King. What's the name of that movie where they walk down the train tracks?
Stand by Me.
Stand by Me. It kind of reminded me like of a girl version of that.
Absolutely.
There's no bad guy, you know, there's no kind of like start, middle, and end. Like there's the town is in ruin and then the witches come in and save everybody and then they're the heroes at the end. It is actually a little bit more complicated than that. And I went in expecting a lot more convolution, if I'll be honest. A lot more just unnecessary talk.
I was
about
hoping
witchcraft
it would sideswipe you a little bit. I knew you'd go in with the kind of perception of like, oh, the crow the last time, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I was hoping you would see the value in it, and I was hoping I wasn't going to be disappointed because I remember the crow being so much better than it was. So I was really
Yeah.
nervous about picking the craft because I was like, please don't betray me. But yeah,
And I think
so
it
I'm glad you found some value in it anyway.
I found some pretty good value in it, and I suppose for what it was, which is a female coming of age movie, I don't think I don't really think that it did a bad job of it. And there's only so much. Oh God, Darren's dead.
Hi, Darren.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I'm back. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Keep going. Keep talking.
So for my part, I suppose, again, like I said, it was a kind of a coming of age story. I couldn't relate to a lot of it, being about 4 young teenage girls, but for the most part, thought it was pretty good. Darren,
I think you're right in the sense that because it was like a coming of age movie, at that point there would have been nothing like that had been out in 1996 about girls. Like you said about Stand By Me and all that, there was loads of those about the boys. And if you think about when it came out as well, it was a year after Clueless. So Clueless was like the Valley Girl, and then this was a year later, so you had something suddenly celebrating like the other girl, like the alternative girl, the outcast, the weirdo. And then that summer, I think the Spice Girls came out. So like literally, this is the point where girl power became a thing. You know what I mean? So we started having all these movies about like independent women sort of idea and girls being the protagonist. There was a lot more of that. There was a lot more goth girl, alt girl off the back of this. Like Charmed was because of this. Buffy came out a year later. So it really kickstarted that alternative kick-ass girl, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, that for me, the 90s was a lot about, probably more than nowadays even, about independent female power in a positive way. Not to say they're better than boys. Like, this film wasn't women are better than boys or, men are worse than X, Y, and Z, even though there is an asshole in it. There's like a part in it where the Sarah character kind of even justifies what he's done by going, I kind of brought it on myself. And I was like, whoa, that's mind-blowing. We can have that debate.
Yeah.
But the way that they broach that conversation, like I'm saying, in a movie nowadays, wouldn't be done as for a teenage girl film as upfront
diplomatically.
And just bam. Yeah, exactly. Diplomatically. Yeah, exactly.
I think at the time it would have been feminist. They would have seen it as very feminist. Whereas looking at it now, like I was watching it going, I wouldn't really call this a feminist movie. I wouldn't call this about feminism. Like to me, it was about sisters bonding. It was about friendship, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, I took a very different stance. I took a completely different thing away from that movie, maybe than what you might have taken away from it then, Derry. But let's get into it. Let's go scene by scene. Unless Darren, do you have a little bit to add on your interpretation?
No, see, I don't know if any of you actually watched The Craft Legacy. Have any of you seen it?
I've never seen any of the craft or anything. I like craft beer.
Yeah.
Craft beer.
Speaking of that, I gotta get a new beer in a second. Like what I took from this movie, it turns out, Derry, every time I went to watch this, I think I have never seen the end of it. Like, when what happens at the end of it? I actually either fell asleep, turned it off. I don't know what happened. But when I saw the end of it, when I watched it again, I was like, this is like totally new. What happened? This whole movie, like, even as it was only an hour and 40 minutes, like it developed characters. It showed their own things going on they deal with, which is why they had to, battle against whoever they battle. The new movie doesn't do that. It literally, same again. She moves to town. She joins them. The gist of but none of, like, practically there's no fucking story to the new one. I'm sure
it looks like it's missing that edge as well.
Do you know what? The Craft was perfect when it came out. It was perfect for the time, and it just, unfortunately, it just doesn't work now. If it had like none of the original characters are back in the new movie. I'm sorry for anyone spoiler, but to me, they would have brought a bit of credibility to the new movie if they had even brought something back for the old. But oh yeah, go on. Sorry, go on.
I was about to say they couldn't. There's nothing that they could take from this film and put in what is basically a film today. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And I'll go through them. And this film...
They could have brought, like, someone... Like, they could have brought a character back. They could have wrote a character into it. It may not have been for a good reason, but they definitely could have done it. But if you do watch the movie, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's no... By the time the movie starts and by the time it gets to the very end, you're like... There was no character development. There was no story about each character. There was, like, the main character. But, it tells her story to the new one. But, in The Craft, the original one, it gave each character their own screen time. It gave each of them, a special time where you realise what's going on, where you realise what's going on with this person, why she's been bullied, why she's... None of that happens in the movie. And to me, that was like... It was a waste of calling it The Craft Legacy.
Well, that's what I think is the fault of movies nowadays, is that they couldn't have done a movie like this because they try and explain too much. There's oh, well, why did that happen? And I have that attitude about films. And now when I watch older films, I'm like, I shouldn't have that. It's about immersion into a film and accepting an idea on its basis. That's why you get these fucking 2-hour-long films that just go on and on and on about how things work in the film instead of just getting on and doing the thing. And
Jamie, movies nowadays... Sorry, cut off. Movies nowadays, to me, are not movies anymore. They try to make a fucking spectacle of it. Like, I'll bring it back to Marvel. Like, you both know how much I love superhero movies, Marvel, DC, whatever it might be, Dark Horse, everything. But movies nowadays, man, I've yet to see an actual fucking movie. Like, the last good movie I saw and enjoyed, and I would watch it every fucking day, was The Birdman. Or Birdman, sorry.
Birdman was very good. I actually really enjoyed. That's one film we should do a good chat about now. That Birdman.
Every single movie now I watch nowadays. I can't remember the last time I watched a movie nowadays and was like paid to go to the cinema and see it, and was like, like you have everyone asking the same questions. Well, did you like it? I'm like, oh yeah, it was okay. I didn't walk out saying I would go see it straight away. I would go back in right now and watch it.
Yeah.
I didn't fucking learn anything, but I didn't. Like you just said, movies nowadays, they spend too much time fucking trying to explain shit in the movie, or not about the movie, not even in the fucking movie.
Well, and this is why this movie is good insofar as that it has scenes that I can instantly remember. You get your drink. Instantly remember and think, oh, that was really good. That was really good. I didn't actually find a moment in it where, sort of like Existence, where they didn't. They didn't spend any time needlessly trying to explain things. So let's get into it. Like last week, we're trying, on the left of myself, we'll see the actual movie itself. And I'm sure, no film industry has any problem with this at all. We're reviewing the movie. This is copyrighted material that we're doing for fair use purposes. So I'm sure it's fine. We'll be playing the movie. The movie won't be played, but we'll be skipping through it as we go along. So the movie starts off, and I was hoping for a credit roll. I was hoping for a favorite little credit roll, and I kind of got one. So it starts off sweeping around these kind of ritualistic objects. There's a crystal bowl. There's a candles, there's things going on, and then for some apparent reason, is that a big bag of weed on the table? There's like this huge sandwich bag full of green things.
I would imagine it would be sage. I don't remember what you're talking about.
I'll get to the. Let me, for all the viewers, maybe I'll get to it. Oh. No, I won't get to it. It's in there. It's on the table. You see it. It's like a big plastic sandwich bag full with green stuff. Maybe it is sage.
I imagine it's sage. That would be a Wiccan herb.
I'm sure weed is Wiccan as well. You can smoke a few joints.
Oh no, absolutely. But in spell casting, it would be sage.
So it gets into this kind of weird thing where it's like straight into the movie, and then decides, oh no, wait, no, hang on a second, we didn't do the credit roll, and then go straight into credit roll. So we kind of come out of this ritual on a table. We kind of have a look at the characters. Like we see, the characters themselves. They don't actually say anything. It focuses in on what's her name, Nancy. I'm not going to be able to pronounce her name all the time. I'm going to call her Nancy.
Pronounce her name either.
Nancy. So it focuses in on Nancy, and then ba-bam, it goes into like this weird cloud kind of traveling through. Kind of liked it. It was pretty cool. There was a part in it though where it kind of cycles through this mad 15 seconds of like Jesus-y images and quick shots between these things swooping around, which I thought was a bit unusual. So again, didn't know what the hell was happening in the start of the film. Anybody else confused?
I liked that there was sort of like that little prologue scene almost before the credits started. So it kind of it gave you like the darker tone, and then it went into like, you know how much I have a problem with credits rolling over ridiculous images for so long. So at least I was delighted when this came on and you had a little bit of the story progressing while you're looking at all the credits. So you kind of got the intro to Sarah while the credits were rolling.
Yeah, exactly.
It was straight away. I love the fact that they're already like you said, Jamie, it's already in the movie, so they're already chanting, and they're like, for me, that's like whatever that, I can't remember what the name of the thing, that God they're looking for, or whatever.
Mendel.
For me, that's
and Nelson Mandela. No, they're not looking for Nelson Mandela.
Mano?
It's Mano.
Mano.
Oh, maybe it is Mano.
I don't know. But I like the fact that they did that. They did it before they rolled the credits, and then you see them. But like it kind of, like that's kind of, it freaked me out. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm just a chicken shit anyway. Like when the camera was panning up to her and she just looked at the camera, I got a kind of creepy fucking vibe. I was like, and she's kind of freaky looking as it is.
Yeah, she's perfect, that part.
I love her in what was it, Waterboy? Remember when she was in Waterboy?
Oh yeah.
She's like hillbilly attractive, like that swamp attractive.
Yeah, she's like, what's it called? She's like trash, white trash.
White trash. Oh no, she actually is white trash in this as well.
Yeah.
Like I think how much of a crippling thing would it be to get her over as a kind of a teenager? No, well, I suppose, what age were they in this movie? I can never tell with Americans.
For the actors?
Yeah.
Well, I know that Rochelle, the girl that played Rochelle, was like 30 or something.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're all in their late 20s.
They were all in their 20s anyway, but Rochelle was 30. She was the oldest.
Okay, yeah. So I don't feel so bad about the whole Catholic schoolgirl references I'm going to make throughout this film then.
Knock yourself out.
Oh, I nearly did. So
Jesus Christ.
So
touché, my brother.
She's an attractive young lady, I have to say, in the context of her being an actress and not a schoolgirl in the film. But
which one?
What's that? The Nancy
Which one is the track?
The Nancy one.
Oh yeah.
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 Something about that. But hey, at the time I was 6 when this movie came out, so give and take. So she gives off this creepy vibe, like you said, and I think like she does that a lot with her eyes, zooming in the camera. She must have auditioned just based on her eyes.
Yeah, she's got those. Like she was fucking perfectly cast in the role, because she's like she's like someone that, it sounds so hard when I say this, and I don't know if I should say it. She seems like someone in the movie, not the actress herself, that would go and shoot up a school.
Hey, this is the second time we've mentioned school shooters on this podcast. I mentioned it in The Crow. Hey, maybe it's a running theme.
It's a running theme. But
I have to be very careful about my movie picks.
Right? What is all your movie picks involving school shooters?
Yeah, God damn it, Jerry. But she has those fucking freaky eyes, dude.
It's like one of that kind of like looks into your soul kind of eyes. And I'm not going to mention any names, but she reminds me of someone we know. So, moving on, we go through and we're already on a plane. We come into this we go through the clouds, and it's a very that kind of reminds me of, is it Hocus Pocus when they do that as well, when they kind of go through the clouds? Do they not do that?
But is that not that? I can't think of the name. Whatever the name of the spiritual in the book. Mano, there you go. There. Is that not because when it goes from her?
Mano.
But does it not go to her? Because I thought that was that's what you're looking at. You're looking at her, and then it goes straight to Sarah. So I thought that was Mano. I thought that was then it shows Sarah.
This is the first kind of thing that I'm going to bring up in the film. They reference this god, and again, this is kind of, it adds to it, as you know, it doesn't take away from it necessarily, but I would have liked a little bit more explanation. I would have liked them to write the fucking name down, because I was like, Manel, and they say it like 4 times, and that's it. That's all you get. I'm like, Mendel, like.
So it's like French. That's why it said they probably say it a little bit strange. Manon.
Manor.
So the way they're kind of making that silent N at the end, it probably makes it a little bit harder to hear.
Oh, is that why your one is French? The kind of shopkeep owner.
Was she?
She did. Yeah, French.
So yeah, we're on the plane, and we get a nice little entrance, and very 90s. Kid is moving away from their place of birth or whatever. They're moving away to a new big city. Long travel home to a new home.
On the road again.
We should actually not sing. I heard DMCA copyright strikes are going around on Twitch, so that's all the lyrics we can sing for that film. We end up, and instantly I knew it was kind of LAX. Is it? You know, that LA airport.
Yeah, LAX. Yeah.
And they do a general, like, there's nothing really to say about the intro, to be honest with you. It's just kind of them in an airport.
Yeah. It seems like they wrote, I can imagine the script on a plane at the house. That's it. There's nothing in between. It's just like, there's no fleshing out. It's just.
But that's like setting up the character, you know, and this is when your credits are rolling. So there's something happening in the background.
The snake. You see the fucking snake on, like, I had to look twice and see if that was actually a snake. You see when she's driving the car and the snake on the tree? Did you see that? No.
Not on the tree. No, I seen your man, like the homeless man with the snake. I was like, what the hell's going on there?
It was a massive, like, my biggest. This was fucking me up because I forgot there were snakes in the movie. My biggest fear, Jamie, is snakes.
You don't like snakes?
Terrified. Oh, I'm terrified. My dad passed it on to me. It's like fucking a virus.
Ooh.
But no, on the tree when she's coming, I don't even think she looks at it, but there's a big, like, snake, a big, like, lemon fucking snake on the tree as she's coming in. And then your man obviously shows up the door, the stupid actor. Terrible.
Hey, there's a snake.
He's almost as bad as your man in Existence. That whenever he's screaming her fucking name.
Allegra! But
he was almost as bad as him.
Yeah, he was like a bit character that was in there for no apparent reason. He was like, you see him twice and you're like, okay, goodbye. I guess that was a little bit chilly. We skip through the airport. Then we kind of get the side, when she's driving past in the rain. She's looking kind of like off in the distance. Obviously, again, you're kind of getting this idea she's moved away, and she's very sad about it. It's very sad, and her parents, and instantly, I was like, there's going to be a step-parent involved somewhere in this. This is in the 90s movie, and someone's looking sad about moving away. There's a step-parent. You never get to find out who these people are. Her parents are these just normal, general people. Like, there's nothing. Well, her stepmother and her real father are just kind of bland, aren't they?
But do you know what makes me laugh? Do you not notice in all these movies, in all these 90s movies, when they go to a house, I even noticed, like, what I watched the other day, the Never Ending Story. They go to a house, and the first thing they do with all these boxes, they take out one single photo. Like it's always the one photo frame, and they just set it down, and that's how it's supposed to set the whole tone for the. Like you don't get explained. You just see a woman in a frame, and I'm like, they don't really give a whole lot of fucking information about this.
I actually like that. Because I saw the picture come out, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's her real mother, and instantly you knew without you going, by the way, this is her stepmother. Do you know what I mean? It was very. No, you get it. That's what I meant to say.
I think they should have explained a little bit more than they did. Like, obviously not when they took the
I
photo right
don't know.
now.
It's irrelevant to the story, really, except for the fact that, you know, she was a witch and she obviously has natural powers.
See that's where they started to get under my skin a little bit. I like the way that they set the movie up, and you know they've kind of already had these three themes of you know, lonely girl on a plane sitting next to her parents. Okay, obviously they're moving away. You know, you kind of make that assumption. Okay, they're in the taxi. Okay, they're moving to their new house. She puts the picture of a random woman down. You're like, okay, that must be her real mother. You know, these tropes are kind of set up in such a way that they've been already done so many times that you could just tell the start of the story without even telling it. Which
you don't need to beat it into
But
people.
would you? Yeah, but they don't explain, like, would you have thought, like, her mom is dead? Would the both of you have thought? Because I obviously, like, when I saw it first, I didn't think, because I just thought it was a picture of her mom she was taking out. But obviously you're supposed to, because she takes out a picture of her mother.
I don't know. I don't think that's relevant.
Here's the difference, I think. The picture was in black and white, and it's of a distant, like a woman in the distance. And that, to me, conveyed a little bit of loneliness, or kind of an old-timey picture. It'd be different if it was a picture of her and her mum together. Then I would be thinking, okay, well, you know, I'd be more inclined to think that she's alive. Exactly, there's a connection there. Whereas this seems a lot more disconnected. And I was like, my first instinct is, she's dead. I already assumed a step-parent was involved, and then a dead mother. So that, you know, but again,
you've never seen this one before, have you?
I've never seen this before. I've never.
Okay, so it's your first. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know anything about these movies. They're not my type of movie, but you know, I watch them, and it was good, surprisingly. So, the credits are still rolling, and this is kind of a nice little bit of a of movie trickery, I suppose. You know, we've already seen movies that show kind of nothing over credits, and now we're actually seeing a movie that tells a story over credits.
Over credits.
And it does it really well. It starts to get fucking a bit annoying when, as soon as she gets into her room and the credits are fucking sliding all over the place, I'm like, stop it! Credits sliding in from the left and then sliding in from the right and sliding down. I'm like, what are you doing? Stop credits. I had like notes down going, I'm really appreciating the credits. I'm like, yeah, I like the credits. It's just slipping all over the screen. I was like, oh, calm down, credits.
I actually didn't even notice.
Yeah, because I'm
just like watching the movie.
No, I was looking at the credits. Not even the names. I was looking at what the credits were doing. So she comes in, and apparently the house is a bit crap, even though it looks clean as anybody would want a house, but the whole thing is leaking. You know,
right? But it's leaking. But there's no, like, and you see when they're entering the house, it's fucking lashing outside, right? Mm-hmm. When they walk in the house, wherever the puddles are, or there's no puddles. It's just a stream. It's like they said. It's clearly when they entered the room, someone said, "And action," and someone started pouring more.
Because why is it leaking downstairs and not leaking upstairs in her room?
Yeah, because it is a 2-story building from what I saw.
So witchy powers.
Witchy powers, actually, yeah, because that's all it is really. As far as I'm concerned, this movie is full of witchy powers. It's not even magic. It's look at the witchy things we can do.
No, but I said that when I saw it, I was like, why is it not like if it's supposed to be, if they moved in, clearly they knew. So someone obviously should have like fixed it for them before they moved in. But like, that's just taking too much into it. But like, there should have been like fucking puddles all over the place. Mm-hmm. It should have been.
And those hardwood floors. Oh no.
Oh my god. I think it was like a tiling floor or something. Like even at that, like the rest of the house looked perfectly fine, and that was never brought up again that the house is a piece of crap. So I think that was just like, okay, stick in something a bit sad for her to be sad about.
That makes her feel even more shit.
Yeah. Oh no, it's raining inside too, like my soul.
Yeah.
It can't rain all the time.
Can it?
Oh, Gary, that.
So she has a wander around the house and looking at all
the
things.
That.
I don't think Jamie even got that.
No, I didn't get that. What was
I just quoted the Crow. It can't rain all the time. I quoted the Crow.
Hang on a second. It can't rain all the time.
Yeah, but he was okay. That's not good.
He's gone.
And moving on, you bastards.
Moving on. So, again, the first room that a kid needs to find is the bedroom.
Of course.
need to find that bedroom. Claim, put your stake on the bedroom. Lovely, lovely bedroom. Gotta say, all Americans. For a house in LA, that probably cost a couple of million, and there's already leaks in the house. So, you know, that's quality housing over there you got, Americans. So, it's raining, gets the picture out, and it's of her mum. Very sad. By this stage, we haven't had, you know, anybody really speaking about anything. We're about 7 minutes in. You know, that's not too bad. Like that. Like a little bit of setup.
Yeah.
She starts taking away all the things from the paper, from the paintings. You know, they're stacked up against a wall. And for no apparent reason, there's a homeless man with a snake. Hey, I just want to destroy the snake. I think he's part of a plot that got cut out. Because they don't talk about him yet. Like, later on, he's like, hey, I had a dream about you. Hey! And then, like...
Definitely more to that. Like, because it was just awful acting. It was just, I know he was supposed to be homeless. And then the dad even chasing him out. Hey, get out of here.
Get out of here, you scoundrel.
But if you watch it back, what I had to laugh was, your man... No, I don't know if it's supposed to be witchy powers, but your man ran off with the snake.
Yeah.
And then it was the same snake was on her father's foot. It's like, so did he drop the snake? Did he bring it with him?
Is that like a continuity error? Yeah, like I think a few things happened that. But yeah, and he does. What does he do with the snake? He gets like a big poker. He goes, oh! Kill the snake.
But he just throws. He doesn't even stab it. He throws it at the snake. He throws it down the way.
So. That happens, and you're thinking, okay, this is a little bit unusual. Why is there a homeless man with a snake? He's clearly going to be important. He's going to impart some knowledge to her down the line. He has to.
There has to be. Yeah.
Why else would he be in it? So we continue on.
But even the acting after the dad comes back in, he says, "Are you okay?" She says, "Yeah, I'm fine." Yeah, he surprised me. Nothing. Yeah, like, but even her acting was fucking terrible. I feel like that was part of a bigger scene.
Again, I feel like that kind of was a subplot with the homeless man, with the snake. They set up like Bum Alley, basically. They set up this kind of Bum Alley or Skid Row kind of idea where, you know, all the homeless people are hanging around on the street. So obviously there was some witchy plot going on there that they never, maybe they just edited out for time. He gets chased out by the dad. And she like, oh, you know, everything's okay, it's fine. I'm a strong, independent woman. This isn't a movie from your dad's era. This is 90s ladies. We are fine, we're okay.
I don't know, I mean, he still chased. She clung to the wall and he chased him away, so I wouldn't.
I'd be scared by that, a man at the door with a snake going, hey, you guy. I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but again, that wasn't like, you know, the way I was saying that it would have been seen as a feminist movie.
Right, yeah. Like
you know what I mean.
Today she would have turned around and went, "Oh, just beat him and strangle him with the snake."
Yeah,
pretty much.
She would have Wonder Woman him.
If it was like Charmed, that was when her witch powers started.
Yeah,
right.
Her, you know,
yeah. His head blows up.
Yeah, she would have. Yeah,
she would have like telekinesis him out the door and kind of went, "What did I just do?"
Oh my gosh!
I heard like ominous music behind her, and she would look to the camera like, you know, big long stare.
Yeah. I'm a witchy witch.
Did I do that?
Did I do that?
On the whole, you know, thing.
They actually make a Bewitched thing in it. They're watching Bewitched in it.
Yeah.
I think again nowadays they'd probably be doing something like, I don't know, watching
The Craft.
The Craft. Maybe. Yeah.
Actually,
oh my god. So
watching The Craft.
The Craft. The dad drops Sarah off at school.
Yeah.
And this is where it kind of got me by a side blunder. So she isn't wearing a uniform, which again in America is kind of like standard. And he's like, "You sure you want to go to school early? You know, you can stay home." So again, he's like this non-confrontational. Like, it's clearly the dad isn't the problem here. You know, you think in these kind of films where it's like the parents are being the bastards, or there's something wrong with the parents' bad parents' life. She's perfectly fine. Her mum, it doesn't really get explained what... Oh, no, it does get explained what happened to her, but we won't say that yet. We'll keep that a little secret. but the mum is dad, and the dad is nice, and he's like I don't, I'd understand
Yeah.
if you
So
were
we don't have
stay
daddy
home.
issues. It's not the.
No. Yeah.
Exactly. So she's like, look, I can't stay home
Watch
all my life
daytime
watching TV. Is like, I could. But she doesn't
Like,
have a uniform.
seriously, how old are you? Like,
Yeah.
of course you can.
What a loser! And he sticks on a sideways hat and a pair of
fixing her
sunglasses.
hair and stuff in the car. It's weird. Sorry, that's kind of weird. You're cool. You look nice. You feel nice. Okay.
Yeah, that was a bit creepy.
It's
It's like touching
yeah.
touching the side. I was like, oh, stop it! You're her dad.
Got out when I saw it. I was like, that's kind of fucking weird. That's strange.
I think that was just bad actor connection because you could just tell that they haven't been in enough scenes together to,
yeah.
they just haven't been. He's a side part and he really isn't even part of the movie.
And I like that guy, that actor. I do like him.
He's grand, but again, I like he really didn't even need to be in the film, to be honest with you. He was just there as a kind of a
school Catholic uniform on him. He would have been better than. I would have liked him a lot more.
If he was like, get in your Catholic school uniform, young lady. If he was like a strict dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not like that.
Just wondering where it's going.
We're gonna get a lot of this. This is a Catholic school girl prep, high school, preppy prep.
What we're talking about, Jerry? What are you talking about?
I'm not talking about anything.
Okay, cool.
I'm just drawing pretty pictures.
She gets out of the car and she goes in towards all of the little prep Catholic school girls and boys, and she's the odd one out. It's like in my mind I'm thinking Americans in uniform, but they don't like that. And then I thought, okay, they must be at a Catholic school, and that was a bit weird because they never really. Again, it didn't need to be a Catholic school for any particular reason at all. Like, it could have just been a normal school. Why did it need to be? They don't even go to a religion. They're in the church once, I think.
They go to mass. They go to mass, don't they?
Mass. They do. They have a lovely mass, and that's about
it. Your man says that, which I thought was very funny. I started laughing. I don't know why, because I just like Americans call it. I thought only Irish people.
I caught that as well.
I was like, okay. I just started laughing. I was like, why am I laughing? This is not funny.
Catholic thing. The only mass things that the Americans have are shootings.
Oh. That's shooting number 3. Okay.
Burn. So.
Holy shit. Holy schnizzle.
Ooh, forest fires. So we're walking into the we're going in school and everybody's looking at her going, like all the popular kids going, oh my god, she's independent thought and she dresses like she wants.
This is what I love. This was what you were talking about earlier. This like the typical like standard in movies, like these kind of movies years ago.
New Girl.
Because like as she's walking, they have obviously a camera like in front of her going back, but you have 3 people here, then 3 people here, then 3, and they all have this like no one looks like they're just casually there. They all look like they're placed there, and they're all looking at like they all have a conversation, and then as soon as she walks by, they all like take their 10 seconds of fame and look at her behind. I'm like, it's such that. For the time, it was great acting, but now you have like people fucking walking everywhere. You know what I mean?
This is like very Dawson's Creeky.
Of course.
Like the whole the crowd separates, and then the new girl comes through like the halls, and people are like, "Oh my god, it's the new girl."
They had it with when you first introduced the girls, and like the lads start taking the piss, and the girls walk past, like they have like their part in the Red Sea, and like everyone walks past.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So she walks in and she sees a big, lovely crucifix of Jesus. I had to bless myself. Couldn't help it.
That Catholic guilt going on.
I know. I couldn't help it. It's doing it now. And then we get introduced to the 3 outcasts of the school, as IMDb likes to put it. The trio of outcast teenage girls who practice witchcraft. I could have, I would have said young witches.
Yeah, but they're not witches. Like they practice witchcraft.
They don't even practice witchcraft, to be honest. Let's get this straight. They're not even doing that. They're literally reading from a book, and then they can do anything they want. It's like this is where it starts to get a little bit like this is aimed at teenagers. It's not aimed at people that would easily be able to think, hang on a second, if everybody could do that, if like 3 girls could do this, like why doesn't...
It's not
Can I
Why
just
Jeff
get a
Bezos doing this? Ooh, witchy, I can change my hair.
From you is, how much do you know about Wicca?
I don't know anything about Wicca.
Okay,
I don't know.
Carry on.
I have a Wicca chair. That's about it.
That's enough, Jamie.
That's
enough. For a disclaimer, that's all.
No, I don't know anything about Wicca, but what I'm saying is that if 16-year-old girl, 17, like she's driving in it, so I assume she's like 17 or whatever. It's like in America, you gotta be 17 or 18. 17? Wouldn't matter. They can't drink anyway, legally. They do it. Yeah. Very bad example they put forth in this movie. So, but the whole idea of it, like these three outcasts. There's the one that reads the book with the scraggly hair and the big jacket, and then there's the goth one, and then there's just like the black one.
I call him the Breakfast Club.
No, but it's like the black one that is perfectly normal in every single way, and there's nothing literally wrong with this woman.
She's like,
she wears a little pink clip in her hair, and that's it. And she's like,
I think that's the point, though, is that the only thing it's to make the
racism
against her.
Wrong with her, and they actually do it in this film. They actually say it. They say the word,
they do.
And I was like, oh my god!
That's the only thing that they can find to use against her.
But that's the thing.
You know what I mean?
Like, the other two things you can see, like, okay, like obviously one is antisocial, the other is like a bit confrontational, and then we got the black girl. That's the thing that's wrong with her. Like, do the whole school not like her because she's black? Like,
no, it's just these. But like,
it's just Marsha.
Like, I didn't think you were going to say, but like, I completely forgot they said that. And when they said it, I kind of went, oh,
whoa! And that's another thing they wouldn't do nowadays. Even that, like, they made a really good point in doing that, and they did it for a reason. Though they wouldn't have the balls to do something like that nowadays. To prove the same thing, but they do a good job of it, and I like the way that it's not so straightforward. You know, these girls don't just get what they want. It's not a revenge story, and I that's where I started to maybe go out of, like, I was like, if this turns out to be The Crow again with the revenge thing, I'm out. I'm not into. Yeah. I like, oh wow, you got it, and now you're cool.
And that was a point that I was going to make about it. Is, you know, you could do the whole revenge thing. It kind of starts off as this coming of age movie, becomes almost a revenge movie, but then you get consequences, and I think that's what sets it apart.
Yeah, the consequences. I like that.
I agree. There's more to it than just like a revenge. Yeah. Like, I 100% agree with you. Yeah.
That was my problem with the Crow, because he was literally going, "I want to take revenge because Gagarg, and I'm going to be really evil to these people for no reason and have no consequences, and then I get my love back. Thanks, bye."
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the quote. Like, it literally was that cut and dry. There was nothing else to it. Like, there was not. Obviously, the other movies then were fucking the same story, same. But that's why I like this. That's why I like this movie, because it has more to it than just. But like, the more it goes along, the more you realize that it has more to it than that. Like, there's a lot of, like, it's just when I'm like, if I had watched this and not watching the movie, I would never seen how much like kind of depth for a movie like this that there is. Like, as I said to you earlier, there's a lot of fleshed out characters. I love the fact that they gave each character in this, the four girls, you learned a little bit about them, which obviously in the new movie you don't fucking do.
They actually did a lot better character development in this movie with these three young girls who don't have about 16 years of life on this earth. Better character development than the four bad guys in The Crow who
nothing about on The Crow. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like I said, I just kept on thinking about The Crow in this. I was like, wow, this did some much better things than The Crow anyway. So
next week's movie is The Crow Part 2, Jamie.
The Crow 2, so we can...
Just because he obviously needs more airtime.
You know what? The Crow 2 did better than The Crow 1.
Did it?
No, it didn't anymore.
No, it's not.
No. Let's not do The Crow 2 at all.
I've never seen it.
No, God.
They're walking through the halls, and then we get the bullies. Who's that guy with the big nose? Is he...
Oh, yeah.
Isn't he in...
Road Trip?
No, like the small guy. He looks like Sean Penn.
With the long hair.
But he was in like a heartthrob TV series as well, isn't it? What's his name? I should have looked that up.
I'll find out.
Everybody else's name.
Have him here.
He reminds me of a person I know actually.
Breckenmeyer.
Breckenmeyer. What else did he must have been in like Dawson's a Creaky kind of thing, or was he in like?
He's in Clueless.
Clueless.
Yes,
What else is he in?
he
Is it like a
is.
TV series? Is he in
He was
Bewitched
in-
or?
He's
Bewitched.
actually been a load of stuff, man.
Charmed
He's
or something.
Road Trip, Rat Race, Clueless. Freddy's Dead.
Yeah, no.
Pregnant, Robot Chicken, American Dad. Oh, that was recent.
Yeah, like I've seen him in a few things, and I thought he was really good. I think for the
Actors
guys in
that
this. What's that?
He is in. He's like in loads of. He's in fucking loads of stuff. Robot Chicken. He's had to been in Escape from LA. He's had to been in Go. He's had to been in. Like my favorite movie of all time that he's had to been in is Road Trip.
I haven't seen that film in a long time, and wasn't that Tom Green was in that?
Tom Green.
in that?
Remember he was a guy. Remember he was alive.
He was on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Party
recently,
of Five.
actually.
Party of Five.
Was he in Party 5?
Didn't I write a play called Party of Five?
No.
Oh no, Family of Five. That's what I wrote. Never mind.
What?
Yeah, it was really bad. Someone jumped off a bridge. So we get the guys praying. So we got the guys praying then, and I just have a feeling that these two bully guys, not the not what's his name, Skeet, the other two bullies. I think the director just told them to just act like the biggest dicks ever, and was just like, you have literally, you can say whatever you want, because the way that they act to the girls feels like
when he said to your one, it's like ad-libbed stuff.
Ad-libbed, yeah.
There's a lot of that. If you actually think about when the girls are all sitting together, there's a lot of that that feels really natural.
That's why it feels more like a coming-of-age story, because that feels like what they would do in coming-of-age stories, where the director is like, let the kids have their little chit-chats, and that's actually the real film. You know, they wouldn't allow that in a non-coming-of-age, you know, if it was a drama film.
That was like, it was the only bit that felt kind of natural. But when he said to your man about when she was in class, she was doing the French stuff, and he said like, what did a snail trail say? I was like, oh.
There's a lot of 90s dirty, nasty humor in
this.
this.
But I didn't understand I didn't know what the snail trail was. I was like, fucking snail. And then I thought about it, and I was like, oh my god.
Darren, come on now. We're all grown-ups here. Like, we all know what snail... Have you ever heard of snail mail?
Dude, I didn't. I had no clue, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I looked it up, and it was like... Yeah, I had to Google it. And like,
we all have vaginas, Darren. We all know how they work.
Yeah, but I didn't even fucking put two and two together. But now I know.
Now you know, and you're better for it.
What did I say? The more you know.
The more you know. The
more you know.
But they do this kind of praying thing in the bullies do the praying thing, and it's like, oh, here come the witches, you know, oh, there's something going to happen there. So again, little setup for those guys being a bit of an asshole. They get to the locker. The three girls get to the locker, and what the fuck does she pull out of her locker but a big black noose? The fuck is going on in this Catholic school that they're letting kids just have nooses in the lockers?
But it's like, it's overly big, like.
That's what she said. On it outside, she's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I did. Like, what is it attached to in there that it can hold her weight like that?
She's only a pick of a thing. Like,
yeah,
the knot is probably heavier than she is.
Yeah, but isn't it just like your one Nev Campbell is like, she might as well be your one in Breakfast Club. She's like,
yeah, she's very breakfast.
And she has
Cornholio.
Like, yeah, Cornholio, but she's like so covered up, and I understand she has the scars and stuff, but I mean, it's like, it's a bit on the nose. But yeah, I didn't.
Has she been in? Has she been in something?
Party of Five.
Party 5. They're all in Party 5. They all got cast in Party 5.
She was a huge Party of 5. She was one of the main characters.
Was she in something else like Witchy or some sort of spirit like?
She was the main actress in Scream.
That's it. That's where I know.
Yeah, and your man Skeet Ulrich was the killer in Scream.
Oh yeah, maybe they ought to call the people from The Craft.
Yeah, he was main. Yeah, like a couple of years later, I think it was the next year later or something. They were both cast in Scream as the two leads. I would have not cast them in this movie. I would not cast him in the new movie for this. But yeah, I don't know. I just can't get over your man's name is irritating me. Sorry, your man Skeet Ulrich. Sorry, I can't remember his fucking name.
Isn't it like skeet ball? Isn't that a thing? Isn't that like a
Ski ball.
Skeet ball?
Ski ball.
It's ski ball.
No, it's
Ski ball, dude.
Oh no, do you go shooting skeet?
Yeah.
Shoot
No.
skeet? Yeah, no, that's it. I know things.
Mom says it's cool.
Mom says they're cool. So they go in to the they have a little bit of a chat, and they're kind of like, she's the, you know, oh no, they're all sad, and they're all having a chat about, I don't know, girl
Maybe
things,
she-
kind of
I know,
kind
for a
of phased
fool.
out, I don't know,
Yeah.
periods and stuff. We get the French thing, and they talk about it. They don't act like they don't talk about it. Again, you know, it's a girl movie.
No, I'll tell you what, the sound glitched and all I heard was periods. I was like, what are we talking about?
I put a full stop in a sentence.
Yeah.
I like the French teacher. I thought, okay, it's a Catholic school. The teacher's going to be a bit of an asshole. Nah, he's like joining in on the crack.
This guy, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
did
I
you
got
get
laid
laid?
last week. It's like, parvouez français.
We all went to Catholic schools. There was none of that, like with your teachers.
No. I got bit with brushes. I got bit with fucking rulers. I got bit with everything in the fucking.
The brushes for wiping whiteboards just thrown at you. Yeah, it's a good old time.
Just and then they go after they hit you with it. They go past you and pick it up. Like not to like get a new piece of chalk. It's just I'm not wasting this chalk after I hit you with it in the fucking face.
Now I'm gonna use this chalk. So, for a Catholic school, allowing nooses in lockers, the French teacher being pretty cool. He's like, you got laid. Come on, tell me it in French.
Obviously, don't enforce their dress code that well.
Some of them are like, no problem. Like your man, the jacket's off. Again, none of the adults in this are the bad people. There's not a bad, like...
That's a good point, actually,
except for Nancy's parents. Every other adult in this whole entire film, perfectly fine. They're actually like, not even side characters. They're just there to kind of...
You see Nancy's stepmother? Sorry, I'm not Nancy's stepmother. Sorry. Do you see Sarah's stepmother? Do you just do she have a stepmother?
For 2 seconds.
You do see her, okay? Because I just remember her dad.
Just when they move into the house, I think that's the only time you see her, isn't it?
Yeah, she says something when the house is leaking. She's like, no, to Sarah, and that's it.
Yeah, okay.
And that's what I'm saying.
Like under the crew or something.
Yo, we're down with the witches.
Yeah.
But they never really touch on any of the parental... Like, the parents in it, again, seem to be a good influence, I guess. A bad influence. They're like a neutral influence.
I just think they're set up in a way that, to make it clear that the parents are not the problem. Maybe with Nancy, obviously, like that's a driver with her. But with everyone else, it's kind of...
Like, you don't see...
Don't blame the parents.
Rochelle is the black girl.
Yeah.
You don't see her parents. You actually don't see anything about her personal life at all. You only see her interaction with the bully. With Bonnie, Neve Campbell, you only see her mum, and it's basically from the back most of the time, and it's only for 2 seconds. And then Sarah, basically don't see her parents at all, and one of her parents is dead. So again, it's like the only positive... There is like a positive aspect about adults in this, and this is one of them, the French teacher. And I think the one in the... Actually, what is it about French in this? Because the French one in the shop then. They have this little love of French, I guess. Is French Wiccan? Is Wiccan French? Should I say?
No.
Anyway, that's just interesting.
Maybe it was the writer. I can't remember. There's I can't remember his name. It sounded like it could be a French name.
Monsieur Pierre Gagol. Was that the guy?
Frenchy McFrencherson.
Oh, Filardi. That actually sounds more like Spanish.
But it depends how you say it. Filardi.
French teacher is a good guy in my book, and the Sean Penn lookalike is a bit of a dick, but he's a good laugh. We then get to see the Sarah character having a look around the room and then balancing a pencil. And at the start, I thought, well, that's not that impressive. I've seen people do it with rocks. You ever see those people balancing rocks for meditation?
Yeah.
It's like a mental
Yeah.
thing. I was like,
Yeah.
you can do it with a really sharp pencil. I've done that. Spinning it with your mind. I haven't
There's a
done
whole
that.
other
Next level.
I haven't done that. I haven't practiced that. I haven't been that bored in class before.
But not just spinning it, but drilling it into the table
Wood.
is another thing. But do you know what made me laugh? She was like 2 people away from her in the seats, and she went, and you won't hurt her.
It was the witchy
what?
hearing.
Yeah, but that was one of the bits that I did like. That was one of the effects in this movie for the time were fucking awesome.
Hey, the effects were really good, and there is a lot of cool things.
Except
they do a bit of,
for one,
they
that
do
was
some CGI in it.
really bad.
Yeah.
Which CGI?
The hair, the first glamour was terrible.
So much. She was like, cannot move an inch because it's all like basically drawn over my head. Go touch it. Don't move it too much.
We'll get to that. I want to talk about that.
We'll get to that. You'll have a lot more to say in that regard.
But I did like there's obviously when you can give credit where credit's due, and I did see when the thing was, because you could hear it before you saw it digging into the table. You could hear it, and Neve Campbell's performance there was actually, she was shocked. I was kind of drawn in at that a little bit, I have to say. But when she did the whole and you wouldn't let it fall, I was like, oh, that was actually so far. It made me feel the movie's not as bad as it is that I'm thinking it is.
Yeah, like it was like one of those kind of it was like one of those little tropes, someone has to notice, or that's what stops the character from making the pencil fly up in the air and do crazy stuff. It's
do you know what I would say? The reason why I like this so much is if you both go and watch that version in the new movie, what happens, you'll understand why I like this one better. Because in the new version, your man goes to, they don't explain that. And your man, this the first time you see the new girl, whoever the heroine or protagonist, and some guy goes to slap her in the ass, and she barely moves her hand, and he flies across the room, and you're like, exactly. I'm like, oh my god, we found our phone.
Is that like what we were saying about the homeless man at the door? That's when she discovers her powers.
Yeah.
I think that was the nice thing about the craft, is you're kind of left wondering for a while, is it really magic, or are they just kind of messing around?
Until literally the first time they talk about the fort, and they only say it could be our fort. They only say it once, is when they're at the lockers, the very start. And 2 minutes later, they meet her. You don't have a build up to that or anything.
Yeah,
it's just,
but you're still left kind of going, oh, that could have just been a coincidence. Like, it just, you're not going, oh, magic.
The way that they do it is kind of nicely done. It reminds me a little bit of Spider-Man. Well, that's a really bad example, maybe. It kind of reminds me of the start of this film is introducing you to the magical powers, and I thought, okay, we're going to get a limit to these things. We're going to get what they can and cannot do, and they don't do that at all. They actually, the whole film is them discovering their powers, because by God, by the end of it, if they could do that stuff at the start of it, then that would have made a completely different film altogether. It's like, that's one of my gripes about this film, is like, where did they get this? Like, how can they just, 1 minute, like, I'm twisting a pencil, and then the next minute, oh, by the way, I'm flying in midair.
But you know what?
That's explained.
It's not really. Mendel. Okay, let's get to it. Let's get to it in a minute. We haven't even got to the witchy parts of it yet.
When we get to Nancy gets her powers, I will explain to you why it's so different.
Okay.
But they did put a lot of real stuff in there. The whole friends become enemies become friends, that whole thing. The way they turn on her. We won't go to the very end of it. I'm just going to explain a little bit. I don't know about you, but I've had friends do that. I've had friends become assholes and really fucking try to spread rumors and destroy me and stuff. Man, that they kind of went to a real place with it, that kind of way. I know it's obviously what they true.
Her friends. They were never her friend at all. They were complete assholes the whole time.
Yeah, but people who do that in real life are never your friends, but they try and use you, and when you're no good to them, they they turn everyone against you. I've had it happen in school and stuff. So to me, that kind of in a ridiculous way, it kind of hit home to me. I was like, that's a very real situation. Obviously they're trying to kill her and stuff, but it's
yeah, they're trying to kill her and stuff. But
I've had guys I bet guys fly, 3 guys flying up and stuff.
Like,
But
but that's why it's a coming of age story. That's why it's like, hey, like that's what really a coming of age story is about. Is about a film teaching kids about kids' experiences and maybe a
overcoming
YA audience
adversity and
in a young adult sense of things, like talking about puberty, talking about sex and this kind of stuff and drug use. It's all in there, and it all does a good job of it in its own way. But at the same time, it doesn't make things airy fairy. Like at the end, there's no redeeming factor for these girls that have been assholes throughout the whole entire thing. They're still assholes. And that's, again, another thing I like about it. There's a consistency, and it doesn't try and find an out for these people that have been... Like, you feel sorry for them at the start.
It doesn't try to redeem the unredeemable, like...
Yeah. You feel sorry for them at the start, and you're like, oh, poor girls. And then they just stay assholes, and you're like, oh, actually, these are just normal people. And this one protagonist has overcome adversity through all of these people, lost friends, gained friends, found new powers, and then found confidence in herself. But it never tried to be this kind of friendship is wonderful and we can get through it all by chipping in and thinking the same and agreeing with each other. And
but I keep going back to the whole, this what pissed me off. What you just said there is, everything you said is perfectly true. Good points. But the new movie, all I got out of it was it was trying to like, it really, really fucking emphasized the what's it called, the
the alphabet community.
That's the alphabet community. That's the one. Like, it really was fucking whatever. I don't know.
But there's no need for it. There wasn't any need for it.
But the whole movie, to me, that's all I got out of it. I was like really trying to like push that in your face. I know they would obviously.
Like, everybody can take something away. I am a 31-year-old man. I can take away an experience like that I've had. I don't need LGBT.
Sorry.
But I don't need an experience exactly the same as my background, exactly portrayed, exactly how I experienced it, or it isn't authentic enough and it's not about me at all. It's about your interpretation of the film, and I think that's lost in a lot of these films nowadays because they try and over-explain and they say, hey, this is for this group, this is for this group, this is what we're trying to say. They don't do that in this film, and they don't apologize about it as well. The girls that are the outcasts stay the outcasts because at the heart of it, they're bad people. And that's just a good message as well for, young people to find out that, hey, there are just bad people out there, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, totally.
It doesn't matter how far they can get with niceties. At the end of the day, people can just be mean, and you need to be the bigger person and discover that for yourself. So I don't need to be a 16-year-old girl to get that message from this film. And newer films nowadays need to include every single minority there possibly could be, so that they can say we're inclusive, instead of going, here's a general idea of a person going through adversity and apply it to your life. It doesn't need to be exactly the same.
But that's the way TV's even gone, Jimmy. You can't like The Simpsons. Take The Simpsons for like, they have fired a lot of actors and let go of a lot of actors because they're not like, they're trying to get some people to come in and play Dr. Hibbert. Like, they're trying to get a black actor to come in and play Dr. Hibbert. Like, Frank Azarian won't play. They're not allowing him, or he won't play Apu now. They want to get an Indian actor to play him because, like you just said, they have to have this and they have to have this and they have, because that's the way the fucking world has gone. That's the way social media's gone. That's the way TV's gone.
I sort of get that. I mean, okay, Simpsons is so long running, and that voice was a character that was created, and it's a little bit different. But I mean, if you're starting something new, and the character calls for that, then obviously try and get someone. When The Simpsons began, there wasn't this whole push for
it. Not necessarily, because we're getting off the mark a little bit. But I will like to say, Apu Hasapinapetlon is an American, and there's actually a full episode of him saying, I am an American. Nothing to do with being in Indian or anything like that. He's an American.
Because he's an Indian. Look, we're going off subject.
But this is what we're talking about. The entertainment nowadays needs to literally have a mirror pointed at the thing that they're trying to emphasize, instead of doing what this film does, is suggest at these things and let the viewer make up their own mind. You know, we have these characters that are clearly going through a bad time, each of them individually, but it's not thrown in our face. And as the film progresses, you find sympathy with characters, and then you kind of regret that sympathy in a lot of ways as well. So it makes you as a viewer think about a lot of things, which is cool. What a movie really should be doing. Now,
yes,
we get her spinning that little pencil on the table, and Nev Campbell sees her and goes, "Oh my God, she's the fourth. She's the fourth." So again, so here we go with my little bit of a rant here. We don't really get a reason, like, is this something that they've made up in their minds? Have they read this in a book? Like, I would have liked them to say, "Hey, I read in this book. Ray, remember the book we were reading? Hey, it says," and there's like a picture of 4 witches standing around at something, and I would have liked just
You missed it.
Did I miss it?
Yeah, the 4 corners, the 4 elements.
North, west,
earth, wind, fire, water, north, south, west, east.
So they do explain it.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with religion or anything?
The 4 points.
You know, I don't want to have to. And this is like the Crow.
Explained.
Yeah, Wicca, but like that's the thing. It's just left up. I would have liked a little bit more. I don't know anything about Wicca, or you know
But it's explained later on when they're all standing and they're all when they call the corners.
I get it, but why? Why is that a thing? You know,
because that's Wicca.
I don't know anything about Wicca.
Yeah, but it's explained later on.
But they don't explain it. They don't say.
They say you need the 4 corners.
But what does that mean? The 4 corners.
That's a Wicca thing.
But I don't know anything about Wicca.
Okay, she turns around and she said, "Let's call the corners," and then they start doing the Guardians of the West.
Or to the Guardians of the
Spirits of Air, whatever it is. That's when they're talking about the 4 corners.
But what does that mean? Like, where is this?
I don't know. What does Hail Mary mean?
Well, it's hailing the God, son, mother of God. And
but there you go. That's what calling the corners means.
The 4 corners. Like, but show me something in a book. They pick out all of these books and artifacts all the time, but none of them show anything to do with the representation of what they're doing. I would have liked, what I would have liked is a little bit of old bookery, dusty tomes.
Wicca is not old. Yeah, it's not an old religion.
They lost me. I'm not a big Wicca fan then. It's too modern.
Yeah.
And I would have liked if they're... See, the way they go on about witches, what they used to do in the old days and, when we were a coven and all this kind of stuff. But then they go, oh, by the way, we were created in the 1960s.
Is it Wicca?
Wicca.
Only 30 years ago when this stuff was popular, by the way. Yeah. Yeah.
So, is it Wicca or Wiccan?
Wicca.
To be a Wiccan
practices Wicca.
Oh, okay. See, the more you know.
I should get a little rainbow thing going across. The reading rainbow. So, we then go into the lunch little scene, and everybody... Oh, no, we go into... is there a biology part before this? There was a little biology part.
It's not allowed to sit with them.
I love that. The nun at the start, there's like a nun as well. The nun looks friendly.
It's a sister.
Sister.
Yeah. She's a sister, yeah.
Sister. So, she points, goes, go sit with them lovely girls down there. Even though we clearly know that they're like the outcasts. They're like, you look like one of them outcasts. You sit next to them. Sits down. Well, goes to introduce herself. Hey, can I join you for the biology class? And your one gives her the stare of death. Literally stares her down. Like, why are you even bothering to speak with us?
Why are you talking to us?
And it's like, again, one of those things where you think, why the outcasts? Actually, I'm gonna correct myself here. Nev, what's her name? Bonnie says, does like, hey, you can come sit with us. Like after she walks away, she's like,
she walks away.
Well, your one is like,
hey,
looking at her, and it's like, okay, then I'm clearly gonna be like over here, and he was like, hey, come back, and like, you know what, So at this point, I was thinking, ooh, are they going to go down the lesbian route? Like, is that one of those kind of... No!
How
But
did you
one
get
of
that
those
feeling? Oh, okay.
coming of age stories, like exploration and things like that. They didn't.
Not
They didn't do anything about that.
But not in
And
the 90s, they didn't.
I think
Wait, Intentions.
Yeah, there you go, Cruel Intentions.
Yeah.
But I was thinking maybe I have a modern brain for these things, because I'm like, they're going to have to put something like that in it. But they didn't. They didn't address it, because I thought there was going to be like a little love triangle-y thing, but they didn't do anything, which is good. I'm glad they stuck to the simple thing of it.
Yeah.
They go into the lunchroom, and the bully, Skeeter, has been looking at her in class, and she's like, what the fuck? And he comes out after lunch, and again, it's so refreshing to see kids standing around without phones. I'm like, God, what would it have been like? Huh? This movie wouldn't have existed.
That's what I thought. And I say, the worst they would have had was like a Game Boy in their fucking hand or something.
Nerd.
No phone, no nothing. I was like, yeah, nerd.
She's sitting there reading a book. Like, how easy was it to interrupt people when people just read books? You're like, you sit next to someone, you're like, I can't fucking read now. It's like someone's on their phone, it's just like, yeah, 2 seconds. I can ignore you for this.
But he hands her like a little flower he's after making.
Oh, a little flower.
I thought it was a paper mache flower, but it's actually not. It's like a real flower he picked in hand as well.
But that's the thing, I was like, how...
it's smooth.
Like, imagine doing that to a girl now, coming up and be like, hey, ladies.
No, I'm sorry. If you
flower.
to in school, it'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I think she kind of does that, but he kind of moves in with like...
12 when the movie came out, so like...
You were like, oh my God!
No, I didn't see it when I was 12, to be honest, but...
You're like, oh, what a dickhead. Ugh.
No, but when I was in secondary school, if a guy had come up to me like that, I'd be like, what?
A lady.
Weird.
What you would have done is probably laughed, and that's a good in. You see, you get in with the laugh.
Yeah,
You're like, hey, you know what? Because that's what I think he does. Because it turns out later that he's a bit of an asshole. So he kind of just does the flower. She takes it, and then he's like, hey, I've seen you. You're a new girl, and hey. So I think it's one of those like breaking the ice kind of things.
Just don't take any flirting tips from the rapey guy.
Don't give a love potion to a rapist. That's the motto of this story. Don't love potion rape a rapist.
Back in 1 second.
You get your beer. I'll be going soon to get my beer. So, he comes up and is like, "Okay, I'm going to give a little bit of exposition here about the 3 girls over there." What does he call them? The bitches of Eastwick.
I love it.
Oh yes,
love it.
The bitches of Eastwick. Very well done. He's inviting her to, go see if she wants to check out some football practice.
But what I actually go back to that bitches of Eastwick thing because what I copped was her reaction to that.
Okay.
It was very subtle, but it was a recognition. Like, it wasn't enough like, oh, that's so funny. It was like, why would he make a witch joke? You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. Like, like they are a bit creepy. It's like, are you trying to suggest something? Because doesn't he reveal that, like, they are actually witches? Like, oh yeah, we fully believe they're witches.
Oh wait, yeah, I think it does actually.
Maybe this is why it is a Catholic school, because they are more inclined to believe in the like the hand of religion or witchcraft stuff, like Satan and the devil, than it would be in a normal LA school in the 90s, where they're just like, what are you talking about? Like, they're witches. That's shitty. Whereas it's more rebellious to be a witch in a Catholic school. So I think that's maybe the backdrop.
That's why I was Wiccan for about 3 years.
Right? Catholic schools.
Well, very Catholic parents. Mother.
Yeah, we all had Catholic parents. It's just to lesser degrees of Catholicism.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, that's why we all drink so heavy, you see. Darren's off already drinking like a yard of Guinness. He's like, yeah, better get that yard of Guinness in.
No, but that's a good point. Like, obviously, like, being an atheist was, okay, you're just an atheist. There's nothing you could outwardly show, but like being a Wicca or a Satanist or whatever it is, you can dress in black eyeliner and
that's my problem with
be very outwardly rebellious.
That's my problem with the whole atheist thing. You know what you show people that you're an atheist is a fucking clipboard. Oh, sign my clipboard. You're an atheist too? Oh, sign my clipboard so you don't believe in anything.
Hang on, what?
Yeah, during the census, you always get those people going, "Hey, are you gonna?" Well, maybe it's not a big thing anymore, but hey, you're gonna sign the census that you're an atheist. Make them change the. That's a whole statistical thing, but that's how you know. That's how you know that someone's an atheist. They have a clipboard in hand.
We're still talking about the craft, right?
We're talking about the craft. Went a little bit sidetracked while you were gone. We were just talking about how great the saying "bitches of Eastwick" was. I liked it.
Oh, amazing!
Oh,
the whole movie's worth just watching it for that saying.
Right, I turned it off after that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So are we done now? Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
We're done.
We're done early, everybody. Goodbye. There's a cool mural in the background of Mary and this big flaming, vagina kind of thing. Big flaming shell thing behind her. I like the imagery in this. Again, it's like a Catholic imagery, but again, it's not in your face. You get your crucified Jesus. You get your lovely bit of flaming Mary.
We just pause for a second and just see how good that point is.
That's a beautiful
point.
You didn't let it set though. You have to leave it an inch above and then you pour it afterwards. I'll leave you go there, Darren. It's grand.
That's what she said.
It's decent head.
You have to. Hey, that's what she said. Decent head.
That's what she said. Anyway, Virgin Mary vagina. What are we talking about?
Mary's vagina, and we're getting the part where they're sitting in the outside lunch area. And your man is trying to invite her to watch football practice. Probably one of the most boring things. Hey, do you want to go watch me practice at a fucking boring sport?
So, see, that's definitely a boy thing though, because even in Ireland, you would have been like, "Oh, do you want to come and watch that? We're
want to come in the rain, probably
playing a match on Saturday. Do you want to come?
Seriously?
Do you want to come?
Yeah.
Why would anybody say yes to that?
But they do. Women
but they do.
Yeah, they do. They do.
That's a tip now.
And I don't understand it. It was the fucking weirdest thing in the whole world. But it's something that it's like when you used to say in Ireland, "I'll meet you Supermax."
You're shifting down in Supermax. You heard our shifting down in Supermax.
Yeah.
Back of Supermax.
It's I'm at more football teams, man. Hibs, Southend, fucking a match play.
I love it. You're city boys.
Yeah. I didn't play sports. I went to do some bows, kick some footballs at bows, and hid in a barrel and read a book. That's what I did.
Never read that.
Bows.
But girls would go there'd be a group of girls around the fucking
around the stadium. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's clearly why I'm all alone now, is because I didn't play any sports in all my life.
That's definitely the reason.
That's the reason. I'm a perfectly fine young chap. You then get the girls going home. It's after school. I'm gonna side swipe that. I'm gonna go past that. Look at me. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm a perfectly held together chap.
Gary laughed a little too hard there.
I'm just laughing because the awkward pause that came after that was like, shit, were we supposed to say something to make her feel better?
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm gonna get another beer. You can talk about the movie. I have control of the movie, so I'm gonna put it on a nice spot, and then you can have a talk about that nice spot. The football part, where she's looking through the fence.
Yeah.
What part was that?
I have no idea. What movie were we watching?
Do you feel like the teachers just left the room?
Okay, let's.
I feel like the teachers just left the room. But yeah.
We're back in the room.
And I feel like that was a really existential moment.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, a pivotal point of the film.
What, when she's looking through the fence and the girls come over? Are we still talking about that? Are we talking about how lonely I am still?
No.
We can spend the rest of the podcast doing a therapy podcast. I'm okay with that.
The teacher left the room, so...
The teacher left the room. My God.
So we were just messing.
Yeah. Messers.
But I thought it was very funny. You only see her walking up to the gate for 10 seconds, or the fence, let's say the fence. And then they come along out of nowhere, and she's wearing the most stereotypical goth fucking thing, the big leather jacket, the big leather fucking raincoat, PVC looking thing. I was like, why is... But it's like,
I'm not sure that it was stereotypical then, though, because this movie did for like alternative fashion what Clueless did the year before for mainstream fashion.
I've
Like,
gotten a
their
big.
costumes were basically themed on, like the director said, make them look like they were in The Cure.
Yeah, 100%.
They pulled that off. They put the fucking Nancy one looks exactly like the lead singer of The Cure.
Yeah, and I think that's where that came from.
Sid Nancy, do you know? I think that the whole, well, she says like, I try to keep myself punk rock. She's like very fucking, yeah. You see what I mean? Okay, thank God I wasn't the only one who thought that.
Yeah, she does. It is very punk rock, and I think it's like, again, I know girls like that, you know, and that's why I say when I was a teenager, if I had watched this film, I probably would have gotten a better understanding of why girls my age were like that. Because they must have watched The Craft. They must have watched The Craft.
It was very influential.
Yeah, a lot of girls talked about it, and you know, I can see why. It's like a Stand By Me for girls.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Stand By Me, but I know about it.
Well, I thought of it
I
as
never came of age.
Clueless for the goth girl.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Clueless for the goth girl, for the unpopular.
That's what I felt like. Yeah. It was someone to look at and go, you know, almost to aspire to, I guess, when you're like a young teenager. Yeah. And go, those girls are really cool. I want to look like them. I want to act like them. I want to do what they do.
Seeing the ending of this film, again, I'm like, why? But we'll get there. They ask her to go robbing from shops.
Well, I figured this out.
Right? $5.50. Yeah, that was like a big 90s thing, right? Like they said it in The Simpsons. I think 4-finger discount.
We're going shopping, and your one turns around and says, I don't have any money. And then she hands her $150 fucking dollars, and I'm like, what? Wait a second.
Oh my! I think she just lied. Like, leave me alone. Like, I don't have any money.
We'll go with that one.
I had to laugh though because isn't there a line in Mean Girls where it's like, get in the car, we're going shopping, bitches.
I never seen.
I don't know. It just reminded me of that.
Okay, yeah, maybe it's like like where
you just pull up at the side of the road. It's like, get in, we're going shopping, bitches.
That's basically they gave her no choice. Like, she was already kind of agreeing with it by that stage.
You're right.
But why did they have to go robbing things? I have no idea. But you know, I thought they were going to go robbing clothes, so I expected them to be like in this big shopping mall or whatever. Nah, they shop at this independent lady's shop who clearly isn't from this country. Hey, let's nick from her. Right. Okay, maybe seeing the full film. They acted They acted so high and mighty, like, we're witches, and then they're like, yeah, let's go rob a few things. I'm like, are you fucking mental? Why are you like that?
Stereotypical girls, so like, it's like Clueless.
Girls all steal. Hey.
No. What I mean is girls who are supposed to be like the... Beetlejuice. But the girls who are supposed to be like, really like, the most fucking richest bitches in the world, and like, then you see them stealing.
It's like, not narcolepsy. What's the other one? Not the one where you fall asleep, where you steal things. Winona Ryder from Beetlejuice.
Kleptomaniac.
That's it, kleptomania.
Yeah, but is that not the thing? Maybe it's just me that like, I think when I think of girls in movies like that, but
it's a thrill-seeking thing. It's
the girls who
it's relatively.
The girls who her families are like, her fathers are like lawyers and stuff. Mm-hmm. They're the people who get caught, and the dad is like, I can't believe you did this.
It's because they have
that's usually.
It's because they have it's like men go down the route of like ruination for their physical health, and women go down the route of like Botox and robbing things. That's the way America has taught me about ladies in their elder ages. I say elder ages. I'm probably
we'll have so many viewers giving out to you, Jamie, over saying this.
I don't care. I could be the controversial one. I could be the bad bitch in this trio. Which one are you from The Craft? I'm Nancy. Okay.
Oh my god, I bet there's a BuzzFeed quiz that we can do to find out.
We should do it. Next week, we're doing the online BuzzFeed quiz of which are you from The Craft?
Which are you?
Which are you? I bet they spell it wrong as well.
I'd like to say I'm Nancy. I'm definitely Bonnie.
You're a bit of Bonnie. Yeah. You're a little bit of
I'm the rapist.
Shy. You're the rapist. You're Skeet. You're like, imagine that. We did the quiz and I was like, oh, I got Nancy. And you're like, oh, I got Bonnie. And then Darren gets Skeet. And we're like, okay, turn off Darren's webcam.
I love how...
Replace Darren with a non-rapey Darren.
Moving on.
Oh, now we're moving on. Oh, it's okay when we're talking about other people's things. So we go a little bit of stealing, and Nancy is trying to be a bit of the bad bitch, which she kind of does. She's smoking. She's like, "Yeah, I'm cool. I smoke." And they were walking down towards the shop.
Hey, Brian, look at me, Brian.
Brian.
It's not following the ideals of Wicca at all, I might add.
This is where I start to have a bit of a problem, and maybe it's because I'm an older person now, but she turns around and goes, oh, you cut yourself. And then she goes, yeah. And then the other one turns around and goes, oh, you did it the right way as well. And I was like, what? Are you telling people how to do it?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Wow, you did it the right way. And then look at the camera. Hey, kids. This is the right way of doing it. This way.
Just in case you wanted to know.
But why did they need to do that? Again, I feel like one of these Christian advocacy
I think it was more to do with like the line that came afterwards. I think Rochelle says to her, how do you even know what's the right way? And she kind of brushes it off. And it's like, I think it's supposed to make you kind of think like, oh, fuck, she's tried it too.
But they never touch on it again. After Rochelle says to Bonnie, oh, wait. And she keeps saying to me, how do you know? Like, they never fucking touch on it.
It's a pretty heavy subject to just gloss over, right?
But that's the thing. That's the second time they've like had this suicidal theme in it. And they do bring it up a lot. And like, girls my age, my age, when I was 15, 16, there was a lot of like, suicidal angst and things, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this film again is like, reminds me of that kind of time when kids were that influential. You wouldn't get a film like that nowadays. Again, you wouldn't have showing kids how to do a little bit of Mr. Slitty.
Well, you did, and you had 13 Reasons Why, and that's why
that wasn't aimed at preteens.
I don't agree with censorship or banning anything at all, but I don't think that should have been made at all. But it is made, and it's out there,
that was made by that was actually directed and made by someone who was emotionally fucking broken. Selena Gomez. That was like she has a lot of problems herself, man. She's like mental health, and she was trying to. I understand she was trying to, not to go too much into this, but she was trying to show what people go through, but I think it missed the mark and was like fucking.
Yeah.
It became a revenge story.
Yeah, and it just like the whole time you were like, it was. I have to say, I love the fucking. It didn't need more than one season.
No, I regret watching the second season.
I watched all of them.
Was it the second season? I think someone showed me the second season where, like, they
Broomstick?
all... What?
Broomstick?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, no.
Oh, no, wait, yeah, a guy gets, like, raped by a guy with a broomstick, and people are knocking themselves off left, right, and center. There's people dying here and there.
Yeah.
I'm like, this class has PTSD. They need to be separated up into other places.
Yeah.
They had a great fucking concept, and the great concept with the first season is fucked up as it was. Like, it was a great show. I enjoyed it, but I expect like there was certain stuff that shouldn't have been shown, obviously for certain reasons. Like, they didn't do any censorship till after the fucking show had aired and all the bad press came in.
But that's a show that prides itself on the one concept of suicide, and this has entered into it in a few times. But again, the way that they deal with it isn't to shove your face into it. They actually show that you can overcome adversity. Like, because at the end, well, we'll get to the end, but people making you do things doesn't mean you have to do things. You can be the stronger person and not do those things. And again, this does it. It does it in a good artistic way by show and not tell necessarily. But again, we've slidden off track a little bit. But we're back into, again, lovely murals in this film. I gotta say, like, there's a lot of really good paintings. One up on the screen there at the minute. It looks really cool. lot of, I suppose it is LA in that kind of urban or suburban area where you get a lot of these kind of murals. So I was pretty impressed with that. You get into the kind of shop of mystery with the French lady, and they instantly go in to just start stealing stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, we get all our stuff from here."
Is this you see Nancy looking at the picture of the book and then start moving?
No, that's a little bit later on, and what a great little piece. I don't know how they did that, but that was done very well.
There was another bit of that. I was like, that's fucking awesome. That's something that can be done now.
Yeah, I like the way they did it, and they didn't linger on it too much, but some of the effects in this again are done very well, and they're pieced in. They're not again thrown in your face. There's not a whole lot of CGI or anything like that. Nev is or Bonnie is encouraging Sarah to steal a book and put it in your bag. Like encouraging, like, hey, yeah, we gotta get the power because this is what we do all the time. What does she say? There's stuff in the book that will help us or some kind of crap.
Yeah.
Then the French one comes over and starts kind of introducing herself to Sarah, being like, yeah, you know, I haven't kind of seen you with those girls before. You're a little bit different.
Not like others.
You're not like the other girls. Are you coming on to me, Mrs.?
That's what I thought.
So and she tries to then go behind that curtain, basically. That big curtain. Woo, don't go behind the curtain. And that's kind of a nice piece. Again, introducing a little bit of a character in there. We'll see that French lady again. And then she pays up front. She's like, okay, well, you know, that's at least, again, you're kind of finding your moral balance through the film. You're like, okay, some characters a little bit immoral. This character that we're following, the protagonist, has a bit of morality. You know, I have a little bit of respect for this character. So I like that. There's no point throughout this film that I feel that character was sullied necessarily in any way. She made a mistake, and throughout the film, she pretty much regretted doing that whole entire mistake. And it wasn't even a big mistake, really. You know. We then get on to... that bit with the candles. She's like talking about the candles and like, I don't know much about the craft. And here, have this book and this will tell you about this.
It's called the craft.
The craft. Then they start going down the bum alleyway. Like the street where all the people playing cards and gambling and all the hookers and all the homeless people.
Vegas. It's like they walked out into Las Vegas, the strip. Like I was like, what's going on right now?
Again, I was like, it's a bit of a weird, like, clearly this is going to come up at some point. You know, someone's going to try and either escape from this location or, you know, this is going to come up. We then see the homeless man with the snake again.
Yeah.
And
the bad actor. The drunken guy with the snake. Bad actor. He's fucking awful.
But I feel at this part that they were trying to set up him as being some sort of a lead into, like, he's the good guy, and then there's like a bad character or something. Like he's going to.
Yeah, he's almost like that guy in the mental institute who's actually right.
Exactly.
Yes. You know?
Exactly. And she tries to avoid him the whole film, but at the end, it's like he had the answer, like that she had to get to make her whatever.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, but the whole thing where he runs after her, but he like you said, Jamie, he's given her so much in that little bit of dialogue. I had a dream about you and you died in a dream. And then when he follows, it's like you were walking with the girls and all of a sudden they just disappeared. But when you ran across the road, they were across the road. Like, so where the fuck were they? You know what I mean? But then they turned around and said, we made it happen. Like, I didn't get that from the scene at all that you like.
Well, they do it. Yeah, see, this is where I started to think, okay, is this going to be a film where things happen and then they just... It's like a psychological thriller in a way where they're doing things mentally where they think that they're in control, and it's not obvious to the viewer that maybe they're in control. Things happen and you think, ooh, it could be either they fucked that out of the window.
That's what I meant earlier by it kind of keeps you guessing about whether it's actually magic or whether they're just, you know,
to a point, and then they start fucking zipping around the place without brooms.
Yeah. Well, like, if it goes from, like, 0 to like 600 in like 10 seconds.
And then, but they get this fucking magical power out of nowhere. Like suddenly they can, by the power of 4, they all look at each other across the road and encourage a car to continue driving and knock a man down. And they were like,
to roll up the dummy.
We did that. And I was thinking, okay, now they're maybe it's like that kind of what is it? Echo chamber where they're all encouraging themselves. They're like, wow, we are so powerful. And I was like, okay, cool angle. I like that. Maybe maybe there's not going to be a witchy element. Maybe it's just this, like how influential teenagers can be in especially within their circle of friends. But no, they didn't do that.
They're just taking credit for some guy get rolled over.
They murder a man legitimately, and that's not the first time they do that. So then they all run away and go, ha 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 ha! We killed the guy. Let's have a drink in the middle of the park. So at this point, I was like, okay, these bitches really. I'm not like, even if they didn't do that, why would they be happy that they knocked down a man that wasn't really like, he wasn't a threat. He was like, I had a dream about you, and I was like, oh, plot point. No, he did. I thought he'd come back and like, oh, I have to visit him in hospital now. No, he's just not in the film. He's gone.
Yeah.
Well, they do try and justify it.
He was coming at me with a snake.
Yeah. They try and justify it to themselves, and then they're so excited that they figured out that their powers are supposedly working together.
Right, exactly. Again, because they didn't do like a spooky music and do like a zap in the eyes or anything like that, they just kind of flipped the camera from Sarah to the girls, back to the car, maybe back to Sarah, to the guy knocked over, and then she goes, ah! And then they try and rush her away and into the park. I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe it is that kind of mind trickery. So maybe they half believe it and half don't believe it. So I give them a pass there. They're like, oh, what happened? So now they're all having a good laugh about it. Yay! Senseless murder. Let's have a drink of whiskey. Where they get the whiskey out of? I don't know. But there you go.
Nancy's bag.
Yeah, then this is where I feel like a little bit more could have been given in terms of an explanation of what is it?
Manu.
I'm sure it's Mendel.
Mano.
I'm pretty sure I have it written down here as Menel.
Manon.
No, Jamie, how much LSD were you on when you watched this movie?
Only the bit left over, and it was definitely Menel who entered my body and filled me from the inside. That started to get a little bit too sexual for my liking. Dressed as Spider-Man. I dressed as the Green Goblin. Peter! Come join me, Peter. But they started having this very sexual. Well, Nancy did at the very least. This filling her up with the spirit of Mendel or Mendel. They said Mendel.
Mano.
They said Mendel.
Oh my gosh.
And mention Mendel. It's Mano. I'm not. Hey. This is what the film are talking about.
I don't even know if you can see that.
They don't say Wicca once in this though, do they?
No, they don't have to though. They don't have to.
They kind of do because. Okay.
There's people like you are watching this.
I won't talk about something I don't know, but I think they weren't trying to be Wicca. I think they were trying to be a knockoff of Wicca because they didn't say anything, and they didn't have like Wicca books. They had books talking about witchy.
That was on purpose.
Yeah, and I think
Mano is a made up deity. They did have practicing witches as consultants. They had Wiccans as consultants, but they didn't want to be overtly religious because they didn't want to offend anyone. Basically,
Christian groups at the time as well were like Michael Jackson around that time released Thriller with a warning on the top, going, "This is not to do with the occult. Don't worry, I'm only Michael Jackson."
Yeah, but it was actually more as to not offend Wiccans and not offend.
Yeah, I get that, which is cool.
Michael Jackson had his own cult.
He did. I'm a part of it.
Me too.
The MJ cult. It's like that MXX cult, except for without the sex. You know that sex cult that they had? It's like that, but no sex. So it's a celibate cult. It's very boring. So they all have a little discussion about Mano.
It's not that hard. Just Manon.
I have it down here as Menel.
You're wrong.
I know I'm wrong, but that's what they said. All the single ladies said it, and that's who I'm listening to. So Derry, our resident lore historian on this matter, is giving the correct pronunciation of the word. I'm giving the film pronunciation of the word as a viewer.
It's not even a real deity, so it's not like I'm drawing from any kind of Wiccan history or anything like that. It's a fake name, but it's Mano.
Okay. Okay.
It's fake, Mano, but I'm right.
Mano, formerly known as Mendel or Menel.
No.
They give the interpretation that they want this, and it's like they refer to it as a he. It's like it's around us, it's everywhere, and again,
it's I felt like God and the devil. But I do like the fact that when your one says, "Is it like God or is it the devil?" It says, and I do like the way the analogy they use. If God and the devil were playing football, it'd be the stadium, so it's like it's older than they are. I was like, okay, so yeah, I did like that.
I would have liked a few illustrations taken out of that Bonnie one's bag showing some demons or a picture of man looking for something.
You are, you know that.
I'm a needy viewer. I'm just a needy viewer. I want to see more. I want a little bit more, but I never get it. Not even with Exorcist.
It's a bit of a contradiction though, because you've been kind of praising the fact that they don't shove things down your throat, and now you're kind of like, no, I want to see everything.
But they refer to this like the core of their beliefs, and the fact that they can get all these wonderful magical powers come from this one source that they kind of mention. And I'm like, I would have believed in the rest if you had given me more in the beginning. Not to say that the rest of it I couldn't. I was like completely out of the movie, but I would have liked just a little bit to keep me going. A little bit of nourishment along the way until they started flying around the place.
Would you have liked to see like a picture of them or something? Like something.
An old manuscript or so. Here's an old book. They have all these books all over the place. It's like, just give me something. But that's my interpretation. That's what I would.
Well, I would have never thought about that, but now that you're saying it, it would have been nice to see something, I suppose. But look, I didn't fucking bother me that much
because maybe I'm thinking witches like 17th century, like in a hut in the middle of the forest witches, whereas this is modern witches where they're not talking about the devil, they're just talking about the loving nature of essence and nature and all that kind of very vague thing. Where you can't see, that's the thing. They do it in such a way that it can be vague. They pick things that are vague. They say
it's purposeful, yeah.
Nature and life, and you don't really need, okay, we can.
I think they did that, like obviously, as you're all saying, on purpose, so they didn't have to explain too much.
Like it is the essence of like paganism and Wicca and all that, but it's not not specific enough to be.
Yeah, but even the whole thing where they turn around and say, if a witch betrayed her coven, all that kind of thing, they didn't delve anywhere into it. They gave you enough to be like, this is what it is, or this is what you think it is.
But they keep on referring to olden days and things, but then just never go into it. And so that's why I'm saying I would have liked either a tie to the olden days or a tie to something more modern. But they kind of touch on both things and never go into it. Where, again, that's not really the whole. Being a witch this is not about being a witch. And they didn't need to go into it. But as a viewer that has never been a teenage girl, have I ever really needed to go into much depth about it? But I don't know a lot about witches, so that's where my interest lie, or lay, or did lie. Diddly-eye-die. So we get that little meeting, and your one runs away because she's getting freaked out by them talking about this invisible being filling him up with magical power, basically. So
it's brushed over very quickly.
She goes over to the roof She goes on a little date. I don't know how did she meet this guy? They don't have any phones.
When does like
How
it
did
just
you meet your
goes on
friends
for-
in the 90s?
I had no friends in the 90s.
Yeah. Oh.
My mum
No, but it just
introduced me
it
to
all of a
people.
sudden just it's like a separate. Like there should have been more. Only if it was a movie nowadays, it'd be like fucking. It'd be ruined. Like the fact that all of a sudden she shows up at the fucking top of a roof. Because clearly he's on a date with someone else, and clearly, because obviously I don't remember this movie.
He's on a double date. It's a double date.
Yeah, but I said he's on a date with someone else, and I was like, oh, it's her. I was like, when the fuck did he organize this? Like they didn't even show them organizing the date.
This is where
But
I
that's
think
the thing. You don't need to. Why do you need to know that information? Why do we need to get battered in the head by cornflake writing?
You don't. But it's just it's the year we live in now that like you're expecting every explanation to be seen.
Yeah, no. And that, but I've said that, like I said that back at Beetlejuice, I said that over and over again. I hate being patronized by dialogue.
But here's the thing: this was meant to be in my.
You look at now, you have to. Sorry, Jamie, but you look at it now. When I'm thinking of it now, you don't have to have that. Like, who gives a fuck why they explained why they're meeting up, why they have a date?
But they do this. But they do this frequently in this movie, and that's one of the gripes that I have. They do a long segment, 2 quick short segments, a long segment, and then a few quick short segments, but they don't do any connecting shots. So this is one example of it. And it's not a bad thing. It just gets a little bit like they're basically just doing 15-minute snippets until they can get to the big part at the end. But we'll get through that. This is a skip to it. Like Darren said, not really needed. If it was there, I'd probably criticize it for being not being needed. But this is where I feel like the film was edited in so much maybe was taken away from the film because there's these quick bam bam bam, and it's unusual for a 90s movie to do that. Like there really is no explanation how they got there. Like how did they get there? She ran away.
I mean, in my mind, they're in school together every day. It's very easy to just go, hey, you want to meet up?
How?
I don't know. I grew up in the 90s. I still met my friends.
Telephone? I didn't have a mobile phone until 2003.
Let's meet in Supermax.
So we get that little bit of like, hey, we're on a date, and can I have a bit of a kiss? And he actually asks a little bit. I think he goes, is it okay? And she goes, yeah. And then they give a little bit of a kiss. And he's like, hey, you want to come back to my place? And she's like, no. You know, I'm good. I'm okay. And then he goes, oh, all right then. You know, I'm fine. And she's like, you're not angry, are you? And I was like, no, I'm fine. You know, whatever. And he heads off. And he does the right thing. He spreads a big lie. Instead of forcing her into anything, he spreads a big lie that she did it anyway. Hey, that's how you really do it, isn't it?
That he is. Yeah.
He's like, she did it and she was crap, so... Instantly, they're back in school.
It was the worst way I've ever had in my life.
Oh my god. The dick was the size of a Twinkie. It was all yellow and... oh, no, wait, hang on. Let's stop with that because it gets too real once we get in the inside.
Christ.
So, after that, then, we're back in school, and we instantly get the kind of boy... well, the skeet having spread the rumor already. We're straight into it. And this is another thing. They like... bam, bam, bam. It's like within these 10 or 15 minutes, everything has happened, which is good. They're moving along the pace of the movie really, really nicely. Firm pacing.
Did you say 10 or 15? That was like 2 minutes after it happened.
Like with the on the couch in the room or in the park to on the roof to the next day. Oh, you talking?
Okay, yeah. Sorry,
a little bit there.
Yeah.
So, well, hang on. It can't even be 10 or 15 minutes because we're only 20 minutes into the movie. So at this point, then, they obviously admit, or your one Nancy comes over and says, hey, he just spread the rumor that you've been sleeping around and you're a bit of a crap lay. So, anything to say on that point? Because that's a little bit interesting. Because there's a part where then she confronts him in the hallway and basically tell him to go fuck himself. And he does mean as it is, one of the best things ever, and goes, hey, you're clearly obsessed with me. I've told you to stop leaving, following me around. I was like, oh, what an asshole. And then he's like walking away, and the two guys backing him up, like, yeah, what a
I hate
girl.
to say it, but like, I was not shocked by that behavior at all.
I was not shocked by that type of behavior.
No, it's pretty typical.
To him, I had to laugh as bad as it was when she said, whatever the fuck his name is, in it, hey, Skeet. Fuck you.
Go fuck yourself. But he does it in such a fucking, like... See, this is the thing about that character. It's not like...
He says, nah. He walks off.
Nah.
I'm like, what a legend. As much as I wanted to hate him, I was like, what a fucking legend. She's going to cry. Then I'm going to cry. Then you're going to cry.
Those two, the two guys at the side, like, you're going to cry.
Brilliant.
Cry. But
but when she comes up and says to him, when she's like, can I talk to you for a second? And all of a sudden, then your man cuts in the middle and he said, he's very busy right now.
Oh, yeah, I like your jacket.
Yeah, nice jacket. He takes off some dust. He's and then your man walks off. It's really, like, that part is really well done. Like,
but that's why I feel like they had this kind of, like, the director basically said, okay, just be as assholey as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why your man, the Sean Penn kind of guy, was like, "Ooh, I like your jacket. It'll get a little bit of something there." I was like, "That's obviously ad-libbed," and I love that because I was like, "Oh, what dickheads!" And they just seem like not like, "Hey, we're the tough jocks." They're like, "Wow, they're like mental, like they're mental pricks."
Fuckers, yeah.
Yeah, like they look like emotionally prickish. That kind of
they're like me.
Like you, Darren.
Like me.
So. We get the part where the what's her name, Rochelle. She is in the pool. She's in the pool, and she's standing on the pool board. And what's her name?
Marsha Brady.
Marsha Brady.
But she's also from Zoolander.
Really.
The one from Zoolander. That's it.
Christine Taylor, I think, is it?
Looks a spitting image of herself when she's older as well, which is weird. When, like, there's no change in her face at all.
Yeah.
She turns out to be the biggest racist. Like, if
Christine Taylor.
Christian Taylor, is it?
Christine.
I work with Christine Taylor. I did.
Was he like a Catholic that did people's pants up?
No, Christian
Taylor.
I work with a girl.
Oh,
this guy.
So anyway, we're at the section of the movie where we're going through everybody's pain.
Yeah.
This is really good, and I like. So we're near the ending of Act 1 at the moment. We've come to the pool part. We've This is a horrible, like, I get it, and again, they don't shove it down your throat or anything with, like, these people are racist, and they don't really give a reason as to why she's racist. She's like, I don't like black people. That's it.
What's the word she used? Sorry, I know.
It was negroid.
Negroids.
Yeah.
Okay, negroids.
Yeah,
and that was the worst part of it, I think, because that was the most demeaning. It's not like I don't like you because you're black, or I'm white and I'm better than you. It's like she used that word and I was like, holy crap, what an absolute bunt.
I was like, holy fuck.
There's a part where you're a bully, and then there's a part where you're an absolute bigot for no reason at all. Like, what was it? They go into... Is that the part where they go... Oh, no. So she jumps into the pool, and do they then go into the back changing room?
Yeah, that's where she says it, yeah.
And she has, like, the hair, and... that
no, isn't that later on?
I thought that was maybe a little bit later on, but...
Yeah.
I think this is where she just jumps in the pool, and she says something,
She shouts.
Yeah.
And then she messes up the dive. And I think it might be after that where they're in the changing room and Rochelle goes, why are you doing this to me? And that's when she says...
part. Yeah, like afterwards, later on, then she says that. And it's...
Like, because if they go through each one, and then they do the spells, the revenge spells, basically. So and then the hair scene is after that. So
we have the pool bullying, and then we're straight into what's her name? Is it Bonnie? Bonnie's skin surgery with the gene therapy, getting like acupunctured a million times with a needle.
Well, yeah, but they never explain what happened to her. Why did she need this surgery?
I'm kind of, again, glad a little bit because that would have put 20 minutes or 15 minutes into the movie where didn't need it. Like, clearly she's been in an accident. Her mum wasn't that affected by it.
Dude,
like, she
it's not here. It's not here nor there. It's like not needed, but I mean, it's something that I like. If they hadn't put it in, and look, it's not needed. It what needed in the movie. It just needed the fact that when your man turned around and said she's scarred all over her body, and like, I was thinking that's a heap of shit because I didn't remember. But then when I seen the scars on the body, and obviously she wants to be pretty again, but she's not. Like you obviously find that she's a dick.
Yeah, like, you find out. I was like, I kind of wish you stayed all scarred. You
fucking dick anyway.
But that's the part. It's like you go through this pain with these characters, and you're like, wow, what absolute bastards! Like, oh no, it is this part, Derry, where they go into the dressing room straight afterwards.
Yeah, but it's not the hair.
It is the hair.
But it's not where her hair falls out.
Oh, not where the hair falls out. It's where she finds like the hair's like, is this a tube in my hair? Oh, no, wait, it's, whatever hair. And she's like, why are you doing this to me? And she's like, I don't like nah. And the fucking look on her, like a well-slapped arse. It's like, what an absolute bint. And this is LA. It's not like Mississippi. It's like, this is LA, and this person is being like that? How horrible. So we then see the skin surgery for
Bonnie.
For Bonnie, and she looks like she's going through some pretty bad pain there. Her mum looks like very supportive. Get to see her mum probably one more time after this. And then we're into Sarah having a bit of a thing in bed. She's in bed, or...
This is where she comes home to her...
She comes home and she...
Rain.
Yeah, she's in bed for some reason. But then we go to Nancy.
She comes in and your mom, like, she goes in and your mom's like, oh, you haven't paid the electric bill. You haven't paid the bill. I gave you the money. She sits in.
I paid the bill. I know. I know I don't pay that bill, but I know what I give you.
Your one turn. No, she says, you're no good for nothing. What are you good for? He said, you know what I'm good for. And then she see her lying down on the bed, and she's obviously, this is her broken home, obviously.
And in fairness, that was an example of a broken home. That was like a 5-minute, okay, clearly they're living in a broken home. She has to walk home by herself. They're like living in this crappy little house, and she has a bit of a smoke, and then she...
But I could never tell, is the mother drunk, or is she, is she fucking... Okay, I was thinking...
I had a stroke, okay? It's like mothers with strokes are the worst. No, she is very drunk, and she has a stepdad who's an asshole. There's a lot of step-parents in here. And maybe Bonnie doesn't even have a dad. Who knows? It's like all these one-parent families going on. They're back in school. And this is basically where Act 2 begins. We've gotten the little bit of explanation about their goals and aspirations. You get their reasoning really quickly, in a kind of a montage almost of, each going through their turmoil. And then they invite Sarah for a field trip. Let's go to a field trip in the woods.
Careful of weird kids.
We are those weird kids, mister.
Yeah.
Iconic. It's iconic.
Is that iconic?
Yeah. That's iconic. That is the line from the movie.
Oh, right.
That's what this is about.
Oh, very good. I wonder what that was.
Oh, I couldn't read that till now. You just showed me. Weirdos. Oh, very good.
That's the scene where she's like,
we are the weirdos, mister.
Mister. So they go into Mr. President. They go into the woods, and then they have a little bit of a seance thing going on. They have it's kind of an initiation of this fourth member. And this is the kind of idea that they were getting at. They're not powerful as 3. They needed this 4th. And it clearly is your one that spins a pencil. Because there's like this witchy power going on.
She's natural power.
She's natural power. It's all in nature and everything. So they hold knives to each other's throats. Things get fucking serious.
Shit just got real.
Shit just got real.
But it's like this, the whole Neve Campbell. Most movies she's in, she ends up kissing women, which is, I don't know what the fucking story is, but like the very start, Neve Campbell kisses. I found, sorry, it's just a little thing I found. She kissed her one of the lips, and I was like, oh, they're obviously going to kiss each other lips because it's something they have to do. But no, every single person then kisses each other on the cheek. And like maybe it's not a big fucking deal. I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking into it too much because I'm a perv. But I just thought it was weird. And then, like 2 or 3 years later, maybe a year later, she was in that movie. What's that fucking movie that she was in? Where that famous scene in the swimming pool. Darren, come on, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, I think that's why I started getting the vibes that this is going to be a little bit of a leisure fest.
I thought the same. I thought
I was like, I think it's going to start getting a little bit relationship-y with these two ladies. Because the first pair like give a good smooch on the mouth, and then the rest of them are like French kissing, or not French kissing, the other one.
Yeah, just on the cheek. I was like,
so when they start having a bit of wine, and then they see all these butterflies coming down, because she's calling upon Mendel. I think they were Mano, whatever.
Mendel.
It's Mendel. It's Mendel.
Mendel.
You can correct me all you like. I'm gonna forget
it again. I will.
Fine. The wine and the butterflies. All the butterflies come down. I thought they were going to be leaves. I thought it was going to be leaves. That was playing in the background, but no. It's or floating down from the trees. It's but loads and loads of butterflies. So they take that as a sign that fucking Nelson, I'm gonna call him Nelson, has entered their body. I think because
he's listening. He's happy.
He's listening. But I think they all admit like things that they want to do or that they regret.
Yeah.
They start casting spells on the boyfriend wishes. And stuff, isn't it?
No, it's their wishes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's their wishes.
It's what they wish. Yeah, one wishes to be beautiful on the outside, she is on the inside. One wishes to have people. She says it not to hate. It's kind of racist. The Reese's Peaches bitch fucking. One is she wants people to hate her. She wants not to hate people as much as they hate her. But they all, and then your one doesn't say it, and she's like, I just wish for Mano to be inside me and fucking read you. I don't know.
Mandela!
But this fucking guy. But but these are wishes, what they want, and like just the fact that he's listening, but they don't actually like he doesn't arrive. No, sorry, their wishes come true, don't they?
Their wishes come true.
This is the point where they're doing the spells, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
and I actually I thought like what's her name, Feruza? Is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
The way Nancy reacts when Bonnie is doing that, please take my scars, and you actually just see this lovely little reaction from Nancy.
It's not that part. That's when they're sitting on front of the fire. This is where they're sitting around in like a picnic and they're drinking wine and they prick their fingers and put it in the wine and then they throw things.
Darren's just saying she likes the part where your one is saying take my scars and
you look. Later on.
Oh, is that later on?
Yep, that's later on.
Sorry.
Yep.
I like it.
I love that part. It's a bit creepy and it's a bit one of those kind of. Ooh, I feel a little uncomfortable because I kind of wish that her scars were gone. And again, like you're getting more and more sympathy out of the viewer. The more you see these characters, you're like, wow, they do have a kind of shitty life. And it's not that they deserve any of it. It's like clearly they've ended up. And maybe that's a good reason.
You don't know yet that they deserve it.
Well, no. Well, that's the thing. But one of the reasons that is probably good for an explanation not being there for each of their circumstances necessarily is because you can kind of think, wow, that must be a pretty bad, like you don't need their whole life story to know that having scars all over your body is fucking bad, or having your mother die is bad, or having someone be racist to you is bad, or having shitty parents is bad. So maybe the explanation was good just to keep it at a base level, and the characters developed perfectly fine on their own throughout it. But yeah, you start to feel a little bit sadder for the characters.
You
start seeing Nancy as a little bit more obsessed with the idea of witchcraft than the others. She's kind of
power. There's definitely the power hungry starts to come out.
Exactly. She gulps it all down, like gulps all the wine down, like taking it all in, and then we get the butterflies. So she's like, "Yep, absolute confirmation that I'm clearly meant to be.
We're doing the right thing. Yeah. I'm on the right path.
I deserve sharks to be killed in my name." So
fucking weird part. Sorry.
Later, we're back in French class again for some reason. They can only do things in French class.
They couldn't afford another extra.
Right, exactly. We need a German teacher. No, we'll just do French.
Just put braces on the French teacher.
Right.
Yeah, it's a Catholic school who only did French.
So you get the Skeeter guy now looking back in class and obviously becoming a little bit obsessed with Sarah, and she's like, "Ooh, is she looking?" And she's saying to Bonnie, like, "Okay, is he looking at me? Is he looking at me?" She's like, "Yeah, he just looked. Oh no, he's not looking now. Oh no, he's looking again." And she's like, "Oh my god, he's looking." And I like that because it was so authentic. I know people. He's looking. Oh my god, he's not looking, but he's looking now.
Don't look. Is he looking? He's looking.
That was cool how they did that, and then we have kind of a little bonding moment with the Bonnie and Sarah. Skeeter comes out and is like, "Hey, I'm a little bit obsessed with you. I haven't kind of stopped thinking about you since I basically lied to everybody that you're a slapper."
Hey, you hate me, right?
Yeah.
No, you don't. Okay.
Right, I know. Isn't that like a sleaze bag move as well? Hey, that really shitty thing you do? Hey, you don't hate me? No, I don't hate you. It's like, I'm in. I'm definitely back in there. I'm back in the game. So
you're saying there's a chance?
So you're saying there's a chance?
No.
No, if you were the last man on Earth.
I can't believe I got in with that quote before Darren.
Yeah, I was going to do it, but I said I won't. But fair, I'm delighted you did. I'm so happy you came in with that.
Another Jim Carrey. Hey, you should be the. So he comes along and says, "Hey, can I walk you to Matt's class?" And he does. And they go to mass.
No, can I sit next to you?
Mass.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what they say? Oh, because they're going to church. That's the mass.
That's what I'm saying. Can I sit next to you in mass?
Right.
When they go to mass.
They do go to mass.
That's why I started laughing, because I was like, this is such a fucking weird thing. Who wrote that? Can I sit next to you in mass?
Some Irish person going, nah, that should be mass.
Yeah.
So then things get a little... Again, this reminds me of teenage girls. Like going... Like, you're attracted to a girl and you're wanting to impress this girl, but she's absolutely taken full advantage because her friend and her other two friends, like, hey, you can carry their books as well. And here's the bag. And you're like, okay, I'm clearly being taken advantage of, but no time to stop doing that now. I've put enough effort into to trying to get here.
Hormones have spoken.
Right. So he absolutely gets whipped to taking all the books and sitting down and behaving. And Sean Penn and his other friend are like, what are you doing? And again, I've been in that situation.
This review, they're gonna go back and think, if no one saw the movie, I'm like, Sean Penn in that fucking movie.
It's Sean Penn. It looks like Sean Penn.
Oh fuck.
But I love the fact that, again, I've been in that position where you're trying to impress a girl and your friends are like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? And you're like, shut up. I'm fine. I know. It's not what I usually do. Shut up. I'm sitting over here with the ladies. Didn't go very well, but, tried.
You were in that position. You can say you were in that position.
I was in that position. I was in multiple positions. And they then kind of start realizing that, okay, the spells are working. And now we have a very famous scene. Now I know this famous scene. They're all having a sleepover, and they're all having a chit chat about nothing really. But
Damien, do you know this? Is this the levitation scene?
This is the stiff as a board, light as feather, light as feather, stiff as a board.
Do you know this scene, or do you just know, like, because it's been done in so many things years ago, like, and like taking bits from the craft, or probably the craft took it from something. I've seen this in more things than I've seen it in the craft. Now maybe the craft just did it like the most famously or whatever.
if any of the things you've seen it in were done after 1996, then they ripped off The Craft.
Okay, possibly. Okay.
Were you watching the remake of The Craft? Was it in the remake of The Craft?
Wait a
second. Stiff as a feather, light as a board. They did not do the same. I'm stiff as a board, light as a feather. What? Quick as a bee. Muhammad Ali. Oh, no, wait, I made a penis joke there. Sorry, I didn't even cop onto that. Stiff as a board, right? Ladies. Light as a feather. What?
Where were we?
What movie were we watching?
We're talking about penises? We were in the
or
girls' bedroom. We were in the girls' bedroom and we're doing the light as a board. Light as a feather.
Stiff as a board.
I was trying to say thick as a board. Oh no, I'm really fat now. Stop it. Stiff as a board.
Thick as a feather.
Please tell me, Derry, that this doesn't work. I'm pretty crappy at science, but this can't work with 3 people.
No, I can't see it physically working. What I will say is I have meditated before to the point where I felt like I was floating. Obviously not physically floating.
We've all masturbated before, and that doesn't happen.
Meditated, Darren. Meditated.
Sorry.
Right.
Sorry.
He's stiff as a board.
Yeah.
I'm stiff as a board here. I was getting another drink.
So obviously it's not going to physically happen. But I think this is the first point in the movie where there's a visual confirmation of magic.
I think a Mythbusters episode. They should do a Mythbusters episode on this. So we get
what do you mean? Do you actually think that it's not possible?
They should do it. I'd be interested to see if it's confirmed. Is it busted?
Considering they put her on like a lift and wrapped her clothes in around this lift to lift. Sorry, did I ruin the magic?
No, I know how they do it, but I thought I have down here. It's a good practical effect. So I'll rub that one off. It's a good practical effect.
It is a good practical effect. She's on a lift.
It's a cool effect.
No,
yeah, I know. Yeah.
How they did it is the same as Star Wars. Actually, looked
her clothes are like in her clothes.
No, there's a mirror. There's like a wall of a mirror in front of her, like underneath her. So it's there.
Oh yeah, that's how they do it in Star Wars.
Yeah. So on her, they took it in separate shots. So you never see her lifting up. You just see her separate stages up. If you get what I'm saying to you.
I know what you're saying. Do you know what I'm saying? I know what you're saying.
Okay, you know what I'm saying. Stiff as a board.
We then have no reaction to the fact that she's floating in midair. It's all a good laugh. By the way, we have this is where I start to go, okay, things are getting a little bit spooky. Like magical things can happen now, whereas before it wasn't really clear. Like it was just suggested, kind of. You know, I thought it was going to be it's all in your mind kind of a thing. But no, they can float in midair. And they all have a good laugh about that. Ha ha ha. And at that point,
none of them knew about it until your one said it. Maybe that shows the fact that she's like a natural witch as well. Have you ever? Because she says to them, "Have you ever heard of stiff as a board, light as a feather?" They all like, "No, what is it?"
It's like they start like later on. You discover that her mother was a witch, and they never. I'm like, right, so. Okay, I just kind of accepted at that point, but again, it's like, why? I just keep thinking, why during this whole entire thing? We then get a nice little picture of a book that has some old drawings in it. You know, there are some books, but they never give me a good shot of those old drawings. I would have liked a nice little shot of those old drawings, to be honest with you. This is the part where they're watching Bewitched. So actually, they go back to school, I believe. Oh no, they are at another sleepover. So just after the sleepover in one girl's house, or maybe it's the same sleepover. I don't think
same sleepover. Her mom walks in when she's levitating.
Yeah, but it's a different room. It's a different room.
Okay.
Is it different? It's a completely different room. Yeah, I've just checked. I'm watching now.
Okay.
And this is where they're watching Bewitched, and they're having a good chat. Right. None of these ladies are wearing bras. And it is very, very obvious
I will be back in a moment.
He'll be back in a moment.
Light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Stiff as a board, light as a feather.
Right, they're not wearing bras.
They don't wear bras. They should have worn bras, but they didn't. In a Catholic school.
They're not in a Catholic school. They're in their pajamas.
No, this is when they're walking through the school after being like, yeah, we're bad.
Oh, that. Bitches. Oh, right, yeah. Well, stick it to the man.
Stick out to the man. So that just during that babysitting thing, during that
where are we going? What's happening right now?
The sleepover, that sleepover. There was a second sleepover in a different house, and that's where she was like, take away my scars. They were doing like a little bit of a ritual there, over her back and stuff like that. And I started feeling really bad for her. Then we're in school the next day. They're all badass bitches, and this is where Sarah plucks a hair out of that bully's head, and she's like, "What are you doing, freak?"
I thought there was a bug in your hair. You know, the shampoo. I was like, how did you go from being a nice girl to a dickhead that quickly?
And she has a little bit of mascara on as well. Like right up here. She's like, ooh, bad bitches.
I understand that they're kind of growing their powers and they're realizing, we have powers and we can do this. But like, and I suppose because of the film, they have to move things along quickly. But like that was a fucking turn, really fucking quickly.
So it was a bit of like, that's a thing. Like I would have, if I was given a little bit of explanation about this witchcraftian thing, maybe a little bit at the start, it would have extended the film out another fucking.
You should call it witchcraftian.
Witchcraftian, like Lovecraftian. And it would have extended the movie out another 20 minutes, and at the very least, I would have expected some sort of an extended bit, because it feels like some things were left unsaid. And I never thought I'd say about the movie The Craft, but things were left unsaid that clearly needed to be said in this film. I was looking for some sort of an extended cut, but it never came. So we now get the setup that clearly this one is going to have something done to her. Like her hair is going to fall on out. We then are back at another sleepover. Or it's like or what's her name? Rochelle has come over to Sarah's house, and I think they're having a bit of a chat. She's plaiting her hair. They're having a girl-to-girl moment.
Like out of nowhere, this for like 10 seconds. I was like, it's like they had planned this to do this, but it was never talked about before.
But this is where they basically just talk about the fact that, oh yeah, who's that? Oh, that's my mom. Oh, what happened to her? Oh, she died, giving birth to me. Okay. Yeah. And, oh no, sorry. Now we have the take away my scars bit. So, like, they've had, like, so many sleepovers, I don't fucking know. This is, like, the third sleepover they had in, like, 20 minutes. They have the take away my scars. Very good back makeup, I would have to say.
Back then, yeah, it was great.
PPA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was done pretty well. I like that. So, take away my scars, and then we're at the pool bit. And your one is doing a bit of a jump from the high board. The teacher, again, it's not like the teacher is like encouraging the bad behavior. He's like, hey, shut up, you, basically, to the bully one. You stop ducking.
Stop ducking.
You shut your face.
What'd she say? Don't hit your head on the board or something, or sharp or something.
It's like, oh, shut up, you. And she takes her hat off, and then all her hair is after falling out. The blonde one's hair is after falling out, and great.
But I like how they did that, because it was a good effect. I like how there was still loads of hair in her head, but you could see like there was a whole bald patch in the back of her head. It was all scabies and fucking scars.
Yeah, like it didn't look like her hair was falling out. It looked like she had like proper an illness, like a disease.
Yeah. That's what I liked about it. It was good. It wasn't just a big fucking like her. It wasn't. She was automatically just bald.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's she just took off her hat, like completely bald, a bald mask on the top.
Oh yeah.
So now we have the pool bit, and then we do a kind of a montage of everybody getting their comeuppance. So we have your one going back into the skin doctor and them being like, yeah, everything's okay.
Wiping it off.
Wiping it off,
Take
wiping it
few
off.
tries.
Oh my God, it's a miracle. It's a miracle.
Then she comes into school and she's like a complete asshole.
She has tits out, butt out. She's wearing like a little mini skirt and she's a complete fucking absolute bitch, basically.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. But then the lads are like,
hubba.
Yeah, but you swear that exactly. They might as well have said a hubba hubba. The only two lads in the whole fucking school apparently turn around and be like, "Hi, Bonnie, hi." Like they've never noticed her before, but like her face never changed once. Like
that's the thing. It was all like a scar down her back and her shoulders and everything. Her face didn't have all of those scars over.
All she did was put on a fucking ponytail. That's all.
And do a little bit of cleavage, like a lot of cleavage, like a Wonder Bra amount of cleavage has gone into that.
I did notice.
I noticed because that's what they make you notice. From no bras to Wonder Bras, amazing. They all have a bit of a chat outside, and then Nancy is sitting there being like, "Why didn't I get any witchy good luck? You know, I have a shitty parents. What did I get out of this?
I put on my 1985s like Walkman and like walk off."
I'm being so sad. Like the other two girls are like delighted at the fact that they've got something. However, the Nancy, the kind of the leader of the group beforehand, is now like brushed aside because she's not a powerful witch like Sarah is. She's so fantastic. She can clean all of my skin off and stop people being racist to me, effectively. We then get Nancy going back to her crappy little house and praying with a load of candles.
Having a shower that we don't see. How dare they?
They don't show us the shower of Nancy. I hope it's in the extended edition.
Yeah.
And then we see the stepdad and the mum basically fighting with each other. This is the part where he's like, is this the part where he's like, hey, you know I don't pay the bills?
Yeah. What are you good for? You know what I'm good for.
He then, she slaps him, like the mum gives him a whap on the back of the head or whatever. And he's like, he fucking flips. He's like, don't you ever fucking hit me? Throws her on the sofa. Bit of an overreaction, I have to say. But then he gets a little bit of his own comeuppance by, having a heart attack. She basically kills him.
Pig. And she stares him out of it.
Yeah, she does the starey eye things again.
She got those freaky eyes.
Derry, your camera's going a little bit blurry and all over the place.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
You're in the time warp.
How's the art cam?
Oh, perfect.
Okay,
all the important things are good.
That's all that matters. You don't need to see me. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay then.
Loud and
all
clear.
Good.
He gets a heart attack, and it's again influenced by her freaky eyes. They then have a little bit of a meeting with the insurance guy, and he's like,
"This is the weirdest part in the whole fucking movie. This is like they're too happy, and your man didn't ask a question."
That was a little bit of a comedy moment where he's like, yeah, you got that. You got like 175K.
65,000.
They're like, yeah! It's like, that's not a lot of money nowadays, 175,000.
I'm not sure it was even a lot of money then, especially to buy what they bought.
But they bought a fucking apartment that the mum still doesn't have a job. Like, how is she going to actually keep on?
That's what it says. It's like, they've got an apartment. They've paid us like monthly. And like the apartments in like Los Angeles or wherever the fuck they are in America are really expensive. How are they going to afford this? And like they bought like they bought furniture for the apartments.
Like one sofa and then a jukebox.
There's nothing else in the apartment. It's just there's no kitchen. They show a jukebox and a sofa and nothing else.
I wish, but that's what I was hoping that would happen. Kind of once I understood that it was going to be one of these films that had, not a necessarily happy ending. I wanted to see them getting like the house repoed Being like, you can't afford this house. You're like literally months behind on your bills. You bought the place and you haven't paid the electricity. You've been playing that jukebox nonstop. So, yeah, I wrote down like, how the fuck did they keep affording that stuff?
You don't see the mom. Like, nothing is explained about where did the mother go after her daughter. Okay, we'll get to the very end of it. But like, nothing was explained.
The mom isn't really referenced. And again, like I said, these parents are either they're
not even, they're background characters. They're not even side characters.
The mom in this is she's the most obvious parent, and she's really there to just show you why Nancy is so kind of fucked up. Like Nancy, when she's with the insurance guy, she's sitting there smoking a cigarette, and your man is like, "Yep, well, they're white trash. I suppose they're like this." They then go to the apartment, and the mother is absolutely still stinking drunk.
But I actually felt sorry for her mom. I was like, the whole time I was like, because when she came in, she was like, and then when she was going up to like, maybe we should have like a housewarming, and the one closed door on her face, was like, what a dickhead. Maybe just because when I had kids, I was like my daughters, like, if my daughter ever did that to me, I'd fucking feel so sad about myself.
Well, this is the thing. You're not a fucking absolute drunk that gets like drunken all around the place and
only on Tuesdays.
Only on Tuesdays.
I know.
Oh, no, only a Monday.
I know, right?
We then get them all dressing up in black, and they're all very 90s looking with their circular shades and
long skirts.
Well, not very long skirts, I would have to say now. But we go up to the apartment, and the mum is there with the jukebox that always has some artist playing.
Christy Hennessy?
Connie something?
Connie something?
Connie somebody? Okay.
Connie. So we understand the mum hasn't changed. Literally, they got a buttload of money, and the mum is still a bit of an asshole. And Nancy is a bit of an asshole for doing that to her mum, because I did feel a little bit of that guilt as well. I was like, oh, her mum's alone, sitting in this apartment. So they have another fucking sleepover. They can't get enough of sleepovers.
Why does this bother you?
It doesn't bother me. I'm just like, that's a lot of sleepovers.
Jamie wants something to happen. Make it interesting. Come
on, ladies, stop teasing me. It's right there. So, but no, what I'm thinking is like
one pillow fight.
Yeah, just one magical pillow fight. Is the girls' sleepover the female equivalent to the boys' treehouse meeting?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
The boys have the treehouse meeting and the girls go for a sleepover.
Yeah.
Lazy bitches.
Wait, total subject. Gary.
Have you ever had a pillow fight?
I am here. Despite the whiteness of my camera, I am here.
I can barely see you. Women really don't do this whole, like, where did this come out of? Do you know where this whole, is this the porn industry? Did porn come out of this?
Fights, Darren. They do.
Do what?
Fight, the whole pillow fight thing.
Oh, like, yeah. That's like, no.
Is it?
Because
the porn industry.
They do it.
Okay, well, that's okay. Let's go.
We've gone too much off topic, but if we're taking anything away from this, they do it. They do it. So,
just don't tell.
Okay. We do.
Now we have the introduction of genuine magic things, other than the floating part. They're now able to change eye color, and see, here's a bit of a weird thing. Like, Nancy's like, you could do that with like contact lenses. Like, she's not impressed. And then she changes, which is actually, they kind of stick with it pretty cool. They actually do make her eyes brown. Because I did check. I was like, did they actually make her eyes brown? But they did.
Were her eyes green before?
Yes.
I didn't see. Okay.
So that's fine. But then she makes her hair white. And it is...
White.
It's awful.
It's not bad for 1996, but
no,
God,
awful.
She can't even move an inch because...
I will explain to you exactly why this is more awful than you thought it was.
Oh, go for it, yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Throughout the whole movie, and maybe you didn't notice, I noticed, and this is a fact, Sarah is wearing a wig.
I wondered, there was something wrong with her hair. It's too big off her head.
Yeah, so she's wearing a wig throughout the whole movie.
Why?
So that's special effect. Oh, because she was in Empire Records. She was a shaved head girl in Empire Records before that.
God.
Oh, okay.
right? So they didn't want her to have big short hair. They wanted her to have longer hair in the movie. So she's wearing a wig the whole time.
That makes sense.
Why couldn't they just change her wig?
So what did they do? Cut like CGI over a wig?
Yes, they color changed. They color changed her first wig. Now, when you look later in the movie, when Nancy she glamours into Sarah, and it's seamless. Why couldn't Sarah change into different wig Sarah in the same way?
That's true. Like, they do it very awkwardly, and I think it's just, again, like in 1996, like, ooh, how impressive. Like,
you know, isn't that old saying, shoulda, woulda, coulda?
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah.
So,
but if she's in a wig, why not just put her in a different wig? I don't get why they had to do, like, the most aged effect in the whole movie is that scene.
Yeah, it is very aged, and there's like one or two bits that is kind of aged as well, but yeah, like it was okay.
Yeah, moving on.
So
moving on up.
Oh, we should stop singing. We'll get banned. We get to the next part where she's in bed. She's having a bit of a snooze, Sarah, that is. And
your man.
Sarah. So
Adrian.
She has your man shouting out the window, being like, "Get out of here!" And he's downstairs and being like, "I have no idea why I'm obsessed with you." And again,
I
like this because it's like one of those, like, that's what puberty feels like sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
It's like you're taken a hold of by this ridiculous, stupid thing. You're like, I don't want to do it. It's hurting me badly.
It's like, what do you hear? I think we should, out of nowhere, I think we should move in together.
But that's again, like, you know, what guy hasn't been that stupid and thought stupid things like that? Like, let's move in together.
But you know what I want to do? You know when the father caught him and he was like,
he flashed, shine the light.
Can I help you? No one can help me. I want him to go, when he flashed the light, I want him to go, no one can help me.
I love that. Yeah, and then it cuts straight into, like, no one can help me. And then it cuts straight to the next part. So now we're on to Act 3. The reason I say it's Act 3 is because now we have all the problems set up. We have the problems set up. They're either... Well, they've gotten everything they've wanted effectively. And the lead into Act 4 is Sarah realizing that what they wanted isn't what necessarily should have happened, because they go into the magical shop and your one explains that any of these spells that you cast come back threefold. Threefold. So
that'd be like tenfold. I don't understand the whole threefold thing.
Why isn't it fourfold, Derry?
Why not fivefold? What's going on, Derry? Explain yourself.
Earth, Wind and Fire. They were only threefold, and they were a great band. Why is Wind not included? No, Derry's gone. She's just drawn. Yeah. Oh no, you're back again.
Sorry, yeah, website crashed. Go on, I'm back. Hi.
We were just talking about why does it come back threefold when there's four corners?
No, that is a Wiccan rule, the rule of 3.
Oh, that's too. No, you can't be just saying that's
just
a Wiccan thing.
It is.
Is that like
the corners, but 3 is
no, the 4 corners is the 4 elements. That's different.
So Jamie, what she's saying is, he is the magic gnome. Oh shit, we can't sing him. Sorry.
I know, we can't sing.
Everything you put out comes back on you threefold. It's like the basic rule 101 of Wicca.
Rule 101 of Wicca. Don't fuck with Wicca.
Hey, what do we say? The more you know.
So,
cheers.
This is where we have the part where you said, Darren, that that little book is moving for Nancy. She looks in the book and they have that cool little bit where the illustration moves, which is pretty cool. And yeah, there it is. Let me see if I can play it.
But it's really, and then you fucking see the way, because you can see her eyes, man. Her eyes, like, she has fucking movie eyes. Like, her eyes tell a fucking story.
I Yeah, and that's why she's perfect for this part. Is again, they use her eyes like 10 or 11 times in this film, specifically for just the glance. You know that. She was in Return to Oz. Remember that film? Return to Oz.
She was. Yeah.
Great in that. Great little
She
film.
was she was Dorothy.
Yeah, she was like mental in that, and they put her in a mental institute. She plays these like mad characters always.
Then you could question, was that the character that grew up to be in the craft?
No, it couldn't have been, because that was like back in the like 19th century. I think it was like the turning of the century, whatever.
What's fucking time in movies, eh?
Doesn't matter. They could be on a roof 1 minute and then sleep over the next. Who cares?
Exactly. The more you know.
The baby. So we get Nancy paying for the book. She clearly has this kind of infatuation with the book. She wants the book. It's going to give her spells.
The cash.
Yeah, and like the
she says she won. What do you know? I have. You one says $30 whatever $25. She says, I have money. What do you know? So like, I was thinking they could have done something really cool there with her having like make money or something, or fucking.
That would have been too magical, though. That's a thing. Like, wow, if they
but she's like money. She's rich now with her 175,000 that just blew on the pound.
Sorry, I never put two and two together. Sorry.
But the shopkeeper basically warns Nancy about getting the book. He's like, that's very powerful magic, and she's like, well, yeah, I don't give a shit. I'm a powerful witch, bitch. So she get the book to do more spells, and they end up on the beach. They have a little bit of a beach party with a butterfly, a bird.
You have a beach sleepover.
And what's the other thing?
Fish.
And a fish. Oh, a clownfish. That's what it was. A fishy. Oh.
Where did the fish go?
There. Oh.
Anyway,
moving swiftly on.
They go on the beach.
So
they go
on the beach.
Representations of the 4 elements, just in case you need that drilled in.
I understood the 4 elements. I either wish they would have made it up all together or given me a little bit of explanation as to a little bit more about something. Manu or fucking Mendel.
Oh my god, you said it right.
I know. I wanted to say Mendel afterwards. Whoever it was, they just give me a picture of him, give me his symbol, give me something to connect this reoccurring theme of them going to ritual, because it just feels like it's like, oh, it's just the name and that's it. They never really bring back to that, so a little like that. But yeah, the ritual part is pretty cool. On the beach, load of candles. They're playing. Nancy's playing with the snake, and there's a lot of snakes in this. And again, they don't really go too much into that. Like snakes are.
That scene, though, that's the beginning of Nancy's downfall. Sort of like it's more continuation of her power grab, because Sarah is there telling her a personal story about herself, and obviously Nancy just hasn't been listening and starts talking about snakes, and you can see Sarah's reaction, going like, "Bitch."
Bitch. Oh my god, bitch.
Oh my god, you bitch.
But yeah, I like that part because it was like, that was, you could see like the good and bad witch, I think. You know, you have the white witch and the black witch, effectively. You know, the dark witch. It's a nice contrast, effectively. So they do a bit of a casting of a spell. Nancy gets electrocuted.
Yeah, I was like, well, and then they wake up the next morning as if
they just went to sleep.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second, what happened? She got blown out of it, and they just went. But like,
yeah. See, did you catch the part where she says the incantation wrong, and she gets corrected? Sorry, I crashed out for a second, so I don't know if you actually said that.
No.
Everyone, they go through 3 of them, and they all say us, and then they get to Nancy, and she says me, bring the power into me, and then somebody else corrects her and says us. So
okay, is that why she gets electrocuted?
That's why she gets. That's not her being electrocuted, by the way. That's her getting the power.
Okay, it looks like thunder and lightning. And
yeah, it is. It basically is, but it's like a visual representation of her getting
What I don't understand is why when Rochelle is like, regardless of when she wakes up, Rochelle, and she's covered, like it's like she went to sleep and put her jacket over her. But then she gets up and they're like, and what she says, she's like, did he happen or did? And they walk along and she's walking in the fucking water. I'm like, there's no explanation for what just happened.
That was like, a bit vague. That was a bit like I felt like they were trying to get at something there, and it was maybe lost on me a bit. Again, I understand that fucking Manu had given the power, and you know I get that, but
she had taken all the power.
She's like walking in from the sea and stuff. It's like, okay, it's a little bit abstract, but fair enough. I'm going with it. I'm suspending disbelief. And then she hops over to the fucking rock behind, and there's like 20, or maybe not 20, like 7 dead sharks lying there. She's like, this is a
hammerhead shark, fucking I was like, fuck's sake.
Okay, you're getting a little bit too serious now. Like, what the fuck? There's people like standing there, like, you know, little ambulances or whatever, fish ambulances. Or no, wait, sharks aren't fish. Or no, are they? They are fish.
They are fish.
They are fish. Dolphins are mammals. Shark are fish. So.
Okay, but they have ambulances there. I'm like, why do you have ambulances there?
It's like, probably Coast Guard.
Well, what are you going to do? Put the fish in the fucking ambulance? I don't know.
It's probably Coast Guard. It probably wasn't an ambulance. It's probably just Coast Guard.
Okay.
We're getting into the nitty-gritty of the services that are turning up at the beach for the sharks.
Well, come here. If somebody's going to bitch about it,
I think, in my opinion, they look like the FBI.
They're going to start putting these fucking stretchers down and shit now. I was like, what's happening right now?
Yeah, exactly. Like trying to clear, electrocute them. So they...
Once that's rubbing his tail, it was like
loving the shark.
Yeah,
getting a little bit of loving with the shark.
Like it's like, what the fuck is happening right now? Where the fucking I don't know. Go on. Anyway.
So they start driving in the car then at this point, and now you start to see where the divergence is happening. So again, this is where I kind of like to have Act 3, you know, about 51 minutes in, because we now see the kind of the problem with the powers that they've gotten. Nancy is going a bit off the rails. The other two are acting a little bit narcissistic. Like that Bonnie one is basically a complete bitch. What are they saying? Like they're talking about
in the car, is it?
Yeah, in the car, in the red car. Yeah.
I know exactly what you said. You used to be nice, but now you're completely narcissistic. And she's like, oh well. Forgive me for not living my life for like fucking 22 years, but now I'm like, and then you once they start talking. Oh, there's gone.
No, she's back. She's back.
And then the one is on about like the lights. Guys, tell me, is that light red or green? It's red. Red normally means stop, right? But they go through 4 or 5, and then like the car at the very end nearly hits him, and she's like she didn't care how long. She's like, then she's like. That was actually pretty close.
Whoa. So, like, is this their witchy powers, or is this them just being radical?
They never explain that. They'd like, is she making that happen?
I think you're meant to assume she's making that happen,
Yeah, I thought so. I thought that.
I think, you're meant to assume that they have, like, this invincibility now, I guess. And, again, it's kind of suggested, but whatever. So they're risk takers now. They're, like, the outcasts that were hiding away in like under their jackets and you know at the back of the lunch hall or whatever, you know, in the corner in the lunch place, and now they're like speeding through the town, blasting through red lights. Now we see Rochelle go into the showers after the pool. Like this is the thing, Rochelle is like instantly always in the showers. Like this is when she has her moments, is in the showers.
She's the water element.
Where she should be.
Okay. If you're telling me she's a water element, what are the other ones then?
Bonnie is air for knowledge. She's the one that's reading the almanac. Nancy is fire, obviously fiery personality. And Sarah...
Sarah farts at the start, doesn't she?
She what?
Farts. She passes wind.
No, sorry. Bonnie is air.
Oh yeah, what's the other one? Earth.
What was Sarah's earth, because she's grounded. I think it's because she's
if
drunk.
that isn't the reason, I'm gonna give you that because that was pretty impressive. That sounds like
They are, each of them represent an element. Like I was saying
go.
at the start, they need the 4 elements. She's the 4th.
Okay.
Each one of them represents.
Okay.
I didn't get that at all, but if
Did you
I
just
would
come up
buy
with that just now while she was in the pool?
No.
Okay.
She carries the fish when they're doing the incantation. She has the fish.
Right.
Oh, I didn't think. Okay.
And Bonnie has the butterfly. I think is it the butterfly? That's why Nancy has the snakes for fire.
See, this is good. This is good. This is like what we were talking about.
Watch Spider-Man.
Well, this is like an existence kind of a thing. You know, you need that
Or
second watch. I think
this is the shit that I know about.
See, there's not a whole lot of exposition, and you know, this is a kind of a good part of it. You know, that's why I think overall it's a really good film that in parts leaves a little bit to explanation. But if that's kind of how much they go in depth in it, then yeah, I can see that. That's plausible. They go into the pool, and your one's hair has now absolutely fallen out again. And you'd think by this stage she probably would have just shaved it off and gotten a wig, but no. She doesn't learn that lesson until a little bit later, until she really learns her lesson. So this is the part where Rochelle is at the mirror, and then she does this thing where she goes and looks at herself in the mirror, and then herself in the mirror looks away. So what? She can't look herself in the face.
Okay.
She can't look herself in the face.
I meant to look that up afterwards and read up on that, but
no, it's like
her actions. She can't look herself in the face.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Now I only came up with that right now. I will admit.
But I buy that.
But that's what I can.
I thought it was just that her reaction was delayed. It showed that her because she looks and then her reaction looks away as well as she looks.
But it's a mirror, so she shouldn't be.
But it should look back at some stage.
It should look back at her.
So yeah, it was cool, and I think that sounds like the most plausible thing because that's after looking at your one in the showers with all her hair fair.
Because to be fair,
look at herself.
After Sarah, Rochelle is kind of one of the
more
grounded ones, I suppose.
Yeah. So is she ashamed of herself, kind of like?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. It makes sense.
She should be, in fairness. You know, even though this one was an absolute racist piece of crap, that's pretty horrendous to do that. Well, see, that's the thing. They've done something without the intention of that exact thing happening, other than the love spell and maybe Nancy. The other two, I can say Rochelle probably didn't necessarily want her hair to fall out. Sarah did that.
Oh no, because when they were doing it, they didn't think their powers were that real. They didn't think it was going to go that far.
Mm.
See, that's where I would have liked them kind of to start realizing, my powers, like at that point they were like changing hair and everything. They kind of, okay, well we can do whatever we want. Now we have the Skeeter calling up Sarah again and being like, hey, please, I want to meet up with you. Please, come on, let's meet up. But I'm definitely not going to do anything creepy.
But all this time that she, I can't understand because all the time she still likes him. I thought that would have been fucking weird because, she'd agreed to go on a fucking date when he's ringing her and constantly shut on her fucking door and stuff.
She loves the attention.
Of course she does.
I'm just saying.
In other words, Amy, she was asking for it.
She says that. She actually says that in it. She says, hey, I don't blame him. I basically did that to him.
Yeah. It wasn't
not
him.
My words. Those are her words.
It wasn't like it was him. It was like...
It's like, I could see it in his eyes. He was like, it was a cold, dead look. It wasn't him in there. So, this is the thing. She's justifying it. Hey, whether that's right or wrong, we're not here. We're only...
Well, I mean, in a magical sense.
In a magical sense.
In the magical...
Isn't that... if we can bring a connotation to all of the things in this film, isn't that equal to leading someone on? Not that action is justified, but isn't that the idea of leading someone on?
To be honest, in
poking the bear,
Wicca, love spells aren't allowed.
He broke the rules.
Yeah.
Well, I can see why not. That's a bad idea. So, but he gets a little bit handsy. They're having a bit of a nice time. She's like, I thought we were meant to go for dinner. And he was like, nah, we're not going to go for dinner.
He doesn't even sugarcoat it. It's like, no.
No. No, I want to get a little bit. Let me give you a back rub, and then let me literally manhandle you, get rough and tumble, get on top of you. And I think she kicks him in the groin or something. Oh, my groin!
She boots him in the balls.
Absolutely deserved.
She gives him a B in the B.
A B in the B. So she runs away and then runs to Rochelle's house, and she's like, "Grr, what has happened to you? What is the sitch?" And I think she gets brought in, and then all the other girls come over, and Nancy's like,
"Where is he?
Where is he? I want to have sex with that guy."
Yeah, but she says it in the man, "I want to have some fun."
And have some fun. So they find out that there was a little bit of rapage going on, and this is where she's like, "Look, just leave it go. I don't want anything to happen. I kind of, it's, he didn't have any life in his eyes. I did it, and I don't want anything to happen." So again, I can see that mentality being a real thing in real life. I like the way that they take things that could be very well, it is still distressing, but you know what I mean. That scene is taken as a bit of magic is in there, and you're thinking in a different way about it. It's a very real scene to have, and it's only happened because of magic. So I kind of like the way they play with that.
Exactly. They want to take the realness, and they want to have the realness there, but they want to put a little something on it so it's not too fucking real.
But I like the way that it's unapologetically real, and the fact that I believe that someone in that position would be like that. They would say, look, let's drop it. Whether that be the right thing or the wrong thing is it's a real moment in the film, and I think that's a cool part about it. This is where I start to like the film a little bit more. It starts to feel, okay, this is actually starting to make a point, and they're making that point.
It's a bit more grown up.
They've tackled racism in a very mature way, I think. There wasn't a whole song and dance about it. It's just this is the thing that happened. This is, the repercussions of that. And then we have a little bit of magic mixed in there. The only thing that is a little bit, Bonnie's kind of skin problem wasn't really explained. Was she in a fire? She obviously got it when she was young or whatever. Everybody else has something kind of attacking them effectively. The boyfriend, the racist, or the parents, the drunken mom or whatever.
Everyone has a problem of their own, yeah.
Exactly. So then Nancy goes off and is like, "Hey, let's have some skeeter sex," effectively. And he goes upstairs, and she's trying to entice him. And I'm thinking,
he does that whole, "Oh, I don't want to do it."
No, but he's genuinely like, "Go away from me. I don't want anything." Because I thought at this point, okay, she's going to be like, "Hey, let's get down and busy," and then take off all his clothes and kick him outside, or maybe something even meaner, I don't know, try and stab him or something, or bite off his cock, which he does say, "I don't want my cock bitten off, so thank you very much." But then she just ends up having sex with him. She turns into Sarah.
She doesn't, because you wouldn't. Sarah jumps in.
No, well.
But she's making loads of moaning noises, and then there's no pants putting back on. There's none of that shit.
Before this, yeah, well, that's kind of what I was insinuating. She's kissing down there in the nether regions, and they're going there. But she does the whole hand thing, and I like the way they already had set this kind of an action up already, with the hair. Now you can change faces. Oh, okay, perfect. If they had just done this out of nowhere, I would have been like, okay, what the fuck's happening here? Did she put a mask on or something? But no, they already set this little trope up, so that was cool. So they get down and busy, and then what do you know? The real Sarah shows up, and they do a cool move from the bed with Sarah and Skeeter to the door with Sarah, then back to the bed with the same position with Skeeter and Nancy. I thought that was kind of cool. I like that little bit of it. You can see where they cut. Yeah. You can see where they cut, but it's cool. I like that. It's kind of cool. And then Nancy's like, "Yeah, I just want to have a bit of fun, having a bit of sex." And then the guy's like, "You're a witch." You clearly have magical powers. Why did you have sex with me? That's the worst thing. Oh my god, I had sex with that woman. Not magic is real, but oh gosh, sex with someone I didn't like. He then stands precariously close to a window that even before I seen it, I was like, he's gonna fall out that window. Am I the only one to get that? Like where you see him in front of the window, he's just like...
we thought that, yeah. When I first saw it, I knew it was going to fucking happen. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I knew it was going to happen.
I thought he was either going to back up and trip out the window, but no, they do the eye thing with her again. They basically close in on her eyes, she goes a little bit mental for a bit, and then he gets kind of air pushed out, like she goes... Yeah. Really far close to it, but does like a back thing.
She doesn't even do it. She just goes nuts, and all of a sudden you see the fucking doors open, and he just goes outside the fucking window. It's weird.
Yeah.
Really rough cut to it, yeah. Darren left. Sick of us.
Bye, Darren. Oh,
bye.
Bam! Straight onto the ground.
Yeah.
Dead.
But you don't see him hit the ground, which is like, I hate when movies do that. You fucking should see him hit the ground.
You do the camera thing. You do, whoa, the camera, and then black.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Face cam go bye-bye.
To Major Derry.
I'm going to be just on audio and art cam from now on.
Okay. Do audio art cam, and then we can see you have a lovely smiley face up there on the frozen camera webcam. So
Am I still there? Oh god.
You're still there. You know what I'll do? No, I won't turn you off because that could... You know what? I will turn you off.
Thanks.
There you go. Now you're gone.
You do on a regular basis.
So then we have the dad come in, and he's trying the whole dad thing, and she's like, "Don't touch me. I, destroy everything that I touch." And he's like, "Well, that's all I can do." He just leaves.
He's a very clueless, weak dad, isn't he?
God, I wish her mother didn't die during birth. Ugh. If we didn't already explain that, her mother dies during birth.
Yeah.
And then we have Sarah doing a bit of a binding spell that clearly doesn't work. She tries it over and over. It's like, stop it. It's not working, Sarah. Yeah. It's not working.
Then you see her asleep, don't you? And they come in the window.
Right.
The big hocus thing.
No, this is the funny part about it. Yeah, so this is where we get to the final part of the film, basically. This is like the mansion... the scary haunted house, and that's what it kind of reminds me of, like a haunted house scenario. Well, like a kind of a scary film, you're being chased around a house, but it was done very slow. I feel like a movie nowadays would have had 50 dramatic cuts and a shaky cam everywhere, but this is done very simple, which I like. Yeah. Right, I have down here, as soon as I seen it, I was like, Smithers, do you ever have that dream where they come in through the window? I was like, oh! I don't know why I thought that, but they're just coming through the window.
I think everyone thought that. I think.
Oh, yes, I have, sir. Smithers. Anyway, they burst in through the window, and and I have it written down here. Smithers, do you ever have that dream? Anyway, that's a dream. And actually, yeah, that's a dream because the next part of it is she's actually in school. Sorry, I went too quick. I've missed this fucking horrible part out. And I say horrible in a good way. They basically abduct her, they do magical powers to open up the cubicle door. They basically threaten her to fucking leave LA, and then afterwards, they basically tell her, yeah, we're going to pretty much murder you. So after that, after the whole, death threat, what does she say? What does Bonnie say? She's like, yeah, I hope you're how are you still able to sleep at night? I hope you're still able to sleep at night.
How are you sleeping? Yeah. How are you sleeping, by the way? Oh, wow. Sweet dreams or something, wasn't it? And then she goes, oh, how are you sleeping, by the way?
How are you sleeping?
What an absolute bitch. So this is where you're starting to go I kind of regret feeling bad for these people.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lovely, nice new mural as well. We then see her going back to the shop and seeking help from the French shop owner.
This
basically.
is the worst, like, fucking. Oh my god! After all the good little effects they had, this is the worst. This whole fucking fire thing comes. It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
It was like I said, the Green Goblin come through the fucking window. Say
Where's
yeah.
Spider-Man?
Say yeah.
Who took the pictures?
No, what did he say? Finish it. Finish it. It was like, I can't stay here. And then she runs off and she's in Las Vegas again, running fucking around.
But so, but this is the part where like she's obviously confiding in the only adult in the whole entire film with like any sort of a personality. You reveal what's behind the black curtain. So she's come to the shop owner as help. You know, she's like, oh, those teenage girls that I've been hanging around with, they're attacking me this whole entire time. You know, I've nowhere else to turn. So she reveals what's behind the curtain, which is a little temple that does absolutely nothing. So all the suspense was kind of for nothing. Your one basically is like, oh yeah, your mother was a witch, and I don't know that.
Out of nowhere.
I was like, I would have liked to see. Oh, that's like the witch of the ring of the witches. You know, there's like a little thing there. Like that's why I would have liked a symbol running through the whole entire film, because then you could have just put it in the ring, for example, and said, oh, she was Manu's, you know, whatever servant or priestess or whatever it is. Do something, but they didn't. So she puts on all the candles. She puts on all the candles, and then they start praying to fucking Manu, and then this crappy explosion happens, like it was out of Buffy, and then
don't you do Buffy like that?
But then everything fades. Everything fades back into being a normal shop again. So that freaks Sarah out, and she's like, "No, I'm out of here. Goodbye." And she leaves. She runs through, fucking Skid Row, and manages to get home. She's like, "Dad, Dad," trying to find the dad. That doesn't go very well.
What's he gonna do that your one in the magic shop isn't gonna do?
Chase him out with a poker. Get out of here!
Hey, you! What are you doing here? You
get out of here! I'm the dad of this leaky house. So she calls the dad, and no. Sorry. Does she get a call? I think she gets a call, and she's like, "Hey, it's Nancy. Oh, I hope you don't feel bad about your parents because they went to go looking for you. They thought you ran away. And on the phone book, there's like 321, flight to, where was it? Like Michigan or wherever the fuck she's from.
I can't remember, but they fucking. Did you not see in the TV? Turn on your TV.
It's like, ooh, sorry. Your parents, or like at least your dad is dead, and your stepmother, who we've never seen, is also dead. But I was thinking at this point, okay, fuck off now. Stop now. You can't tell me that they blew up a fucking plane. Like, I'm sorry, you've lost me. So at this point, I was thinking, that was a bit stupid. So anyway, she's having a bit of a panic attack because she just realized that they've apparently downed a plane with her father on it. And lots of other people as well. Don't forget about all the hundreds of other nice, safe people that they claim to have killed. So this is really cool, where they get all the snakes and everything. Again, probably something that they would
at all.
The rats, and again, this is why I feel like it's like a teenage girl film, because this scene probably would be like high pitched screaming throughout like this whole entire. A great little screamer towards the end of a film is kind of, you want one of those.
Close-up camera angles with her face.
Yeah. So great shots of snakes and spiders and all those creepy fellows. She goes into the bathroom. There's like bugs coming out of the toilet. All done very well. Again, no CGI as far as I can see.
No, all real critters.
Real critters.
That's why it's fucking disgusting, because it's all real snakes.
Yeah.
Then Nancy pops out of nowhere and is like, "Hey, what's happening?" Turns on the shower and then runs away.
That was the weirdest scene.
I'm turning on the shower. Goodbye. See you downstairs.
And you hear the footsteps running away. It's like Chucky.
Yeah, but that's why I was like, there's not like any music, or there's not like any eerie music or anything going on in the background. It's just like, oh, okay. Like it's still feeling kind of kiddie. I'm like, okay,
Well,
they blew up a plane,
not
but
like-
now they're just like,
She should have turned around and said, "Now you're on. Count to 10.
You're it.
So she goes downstairs and they're all standing there in the living room, basically saying, "Well, you're fucked now. We told you to leave effectively, and you didn't. So, bye-bye." They threaten to kill her and say that it'll look like she committed suicide. So again,
Yes.
another suicide-y thing. They then leave a little note down to say that she also is the one that killed, what's his name, Chris Hooker, or Skeet.
I killed Chris. Love Nancy. I killed Chris. I'm sorry. Love Nancy.
Love Nancy. So Sarah.
No, sorry. Love Sarah. Sorry. Yeah.
Nancy takes off a knife. They start floating in the air, and this is where I'm like, again, you're kind of losing me here, film. They're floating in the air now. They're doing whatever the fuck they want. She gets out a knife and then slits her wrists in the wrong way.
Did she not learn?
She didn't learn. It's the wrong way of slitting wrists, by the way, children. Just in case you're wondering. Yep, there it is. There's the... What does the... Hang on, I have the note here. Ooh, if I skip it. I killed Chris. I'm sorry. Love, Sarah. It's like, that's not my handwriting. It's close enough. All right. They slit her wrists, and she goes and has a bit of a run upstairs again. This feels like upstairs, downstairs. They're literally running up and down the stairs, going from one place to another, going, "Oh no, this thing happened. Let's run downstairs. Oh no, this thing happened. Let's run upstairs." After that, the two girls come up, and they're sent up by Nancy. I think they're wanting to back out of it.
Yeah. But your one is at their pass. Your one is at the falling again, and she's invoking the spirits on the ground.
Yeah, she sees a picture of her mother, and the fact that her mother was a witch, I think she's trying to like invoke. And it was at this point where I was thinking, okay, are we going to see like a bright shining light of her mum coming through?
I thought that.
I hear her voice though. We hear her voice.
Do we?
Yeah. Sarah be strong or something. It's like echoey kind of background voice.
Luke,
use
the Force.
It's definitely there. It's kind of repeated.
He's not using his targeting computer. Luke, is everything okay? Red leader, is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm just not going to use it.
The girls then walk out of the room, and they see themselves with scarred skin, and the other one has a bald head, and she's like, "Oh no, now I feel really guilty because we're ugly."
It's come back to his threefold, not tenfold.
Threefold.
Yeah.
So sees a picture of her mom. The two girls run away, and then it's just her and Nancy in the house basically. They have a little bit of a battle. The slits in her wrists start to heal up because Manu has come along and done that. And again, I suppose just as a little backtrack, the one in the shop basically says that Manu has realized that this Nancy one is kind of using the power.
She's abusing it,
abusing the power effectively, and that's kind of explained here as well. Nancy comes up the stairs and is like, "Sarah, where are you?" And Sarah,
is she from Dublin?
Like that. She says it. Where are you?
She's in the mirror. Sarah, get out of the mirror.
That was a really cool effect when she came out of the mirror.
I like that.
It was well done.
It was very stereotypical, like gloopy water for a mirror or whatever. But yeah, she comes out of the mirror, taps her on the shoulder, and then makes her hands turn into snakes, as we all do. She
Ta-da!
puts that's looking fabulous, Durs.
Yeah. And into snake.
Very nice. Hey, that's a complicated snake right there.
Fingers.
Finger snakes. Oh, is that what it's from?
That's why I said ta-da, because this is what we're talking about.
Very good. It's all tying into the film. That's what we
Even
want.
I got that. You can imagine.
Thank you, Darren.
I got it. For once.
So then she starts to regret. She's like, okay, snake hands, bugs in my mouth. I'm sorry, okay? I'm just going to walk on out of here. We're totally fine. I'll never see you again.
Hand. But you once are saying, I bind you, Nancy, I'm doing harm. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, okay, that didn't work the first time you tried it. Now you're just going to piss her off. So basically does that thing that she did to Skeeter and did like a flipping out and rush towards her. This was a really cool effect as well. A bit of a practical effect. Turning the room sidewards, basically.
Love
camera, and then having just loads of shit fall down. Really cool. Your one... For Feruza, Balk, Nancy, her going mental in this part is absolutely crazy, but it's so well done. I think the actress that did it a really good job. Darren?
I agree.
I was going to hope you would say something there, but okay.
Actually, well, no, I was going to leave you to talk there. I actually, when you're watching it, you can see her just like fucking. Obviously, she didn't want to hit Neve Campbell, but you could see her going fucking nuts, and you can clearly see that she's hitting the side of Neve Campbell. Like she's like,
Neve.
But like, it's like the director said to her.
No,
not Neve
Sarah,
Campbell,
not Bonnie.
Robin Tooney.
Yeah, Sarah, sorry. Yeah, sorry, but you can see that she was like just going fucking nuts. She was bouncing off like her hands were fucking bouncing off the ground. And look, I said anybody who fucking commits to it like that, fair fucking play. Because like they obviously had, but I love the fact just before that. No, it was after where they had the clothes on the ground, and you won't come off the ground and just kicked her. Well, that was the end of the fight scene.
She like a big wardrobe comes towards her, and then she gets crushed, blam, by the wardrobe. And Nancy starts looking for her under the clothes. See, I think this is where, like, at the end of the film, they're like, shit, we haven't put enough witchy magic in here, so let's just put all the witchy magic we can in. Like, she's invisible. She's hidden under the clothes. I thought that was cool. It was a bit CGI'd, and I suppose it was good enough for the time, to be honest with you.
It still stood up better than the blonde glamour. Do you know what I mean? As far as aging effects go.
It was not half bad. She does this like she does like a kick and kicks her in the chest and like flings Nancy at the back of the wall into a mirror. Like does this like crazy kick halfway across the room kind of a kick. Flings her into the back of the mirror and then she collapses. Ba-doom! Smash. And it's at that part where we see all the falling glass and there's like a kind of a cut scene where you're kind of seeing, okay, now we've come to the end of the film.
But then she's like, when she kicks her, she's like, straight, like without even breaking the fucking space, she's like, I bind you, Nancy.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're really going to fucking try that third time, Lucky?
You're committing to that binding. It really isn't working.
Yeah, but now she has the extra power.
What extra power?
She's after invoking Mano.
Oh, right, Mendel. He does it all. He does.
Manu,
I get it. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll go with it. So we'll so the two girls then come afterwards and they're like, we're sorry. We lost our powers, but hey, do you still have yours? And she's like, basically, fuck off. Like, I don't want anything to do with you.
Hold your breath till I call you. Or hold your breath till I call you again.
Yeah, and then you find out. So I'm like, okay, whose car is she unpacking? The dad is clearly dead in a plane crash. And no, he's like, hey, Sarah, come back in for your dinner. Like, oh, I hope you realize that thing was a joke that we like really easily set up. I kind of just put that in there at the end. By the way, your dad isn't dead. And
it's a glamour.
I think that's like a kind of a 90s thing where you can't really end on, the dad being dead. Like, what, she's shipped off to an orphanage then or something for like but she's like 16, 17. She has to go live with her foster parents or something. No, go back to Milwaukee or wherever you're from. Live with your aunt in a caravan. Then this kind of cheesy bit happens where they walk off and they're like, probably doesn't have any parents anyway. And she makes a big branch snap off a tree. She causes a storm that causes lightning to strike the trunk of a tree that falls and basically nearly crushes the two girls.
Yeah, I didn't like that whole scene.
That was a bit stupid. I would have liked something a little bit easier than a big storm with lightning and then a tree.
They could just have the wind blowing, them looking back at her, and then her just like, you know what I mean, just like something simple, but not the fucking trying to kill them thing at the end of it. Like, be careful.
Yeah, because up until that point, she was the solid one. She was on the side of good.
Yeah.
And then she dropped the branch, and you're like, oh damn, that's just like, she's not as good as she's been played up to be.
She's still a bad girl.
You know, you had this good versus evil battle, and it turns out like
she's a bad bitch.
She's a bad bitch. So we then get Nancy acting absolutely mental and kind of uncomfortably mental.
Fantastically.
I felt
great actress.
I felt
my god,
I felt really bad because when your woman was like, when she was like you believe it, because when your one was giving her the medication side, she was like, ow, ow. I was like, oh, fuck's sake. Like, I feel bad for her.
I can fly. I'm like, ooh. But that's what I like about this. They don't do a half-arsed job of it. They actually properly, if they... they didn't just put her in a padded room rocking back and forth. They gave her the whole treatment, like scratches on her face, wrapped off, like actually psychotic. And that's the film.
That's it.
Who knew?
Just while you have that scene in your head, do you want to know who was shortlisted as actresses?
Oh, I do.
Who?
Right. So we have Angelina Jolie.
No, God, no.
Scarlett Johansson.
What? No.
And
Was she acting at that time?
And Alicia Silverstone.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah. Clueless.
Who?
That girl.
Who?
The girl from Clueless.
The main one?
Yes.
Reese Witherspoon?
No, that's Legally Blonde.
Oh, right. They're all the
Cher.
Cher?
From Clueless.
Cher?
From Clueless.
From Clueless.
Yes. You're just confusing him now. The
character. I'm thinking Legally Blonde. I'm not going to stop thinking
Jackal.
Jackal. It's a Jackal. Did we end our last podcast doing that joke?
Probably.
I'm pretty sure we ended our last podcast on the Jackal joke. So, that was The Craft. It was a pretty good movie. I would give it 7 teenage wishes out of 10 Sabrinas. Darren?
I don't know what you said right there.
I said I give it 7 teenage witches out of 10 Sabrinas.
7 teenage witches out of 10 Sabrinas. Holy shit. That's a lot of teenage witches out of Sabrinas.
You can give it any metric you like. You can add broomsticks or...
Dude, I would give it
7 bras out of 10 bras.
No, I give it 8 out of 10.
Pumpkins?
Obviously, yeah, but I have reasons why I took those 2 points off. Obviously, your man, there was like... I'm glad, I'll say for Derry, I'm glad that when I watched this, it wasn't as, when we watched The Crow, come back to The Crow again, it wasn't like, when I finished watching it, I wasn't like, that was fucking awful. I remember this being a lot better.
Yeah.
I did enjoy this again. I still did. Like, but there was a lot of stuff that I've seen now, like we've discussed, like the bad acting and the fucking stuff I wouldn't realize years ago. But look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I take a movie at, did I enjoy it? That's the very basis for me, and I enjoyed it. So I couldn't say, would I watch it again? I would watch it again, yeah. Maybe not for 25 years, but I would watch it again. It's very good.
Yeah, like, it's not a film for me, but I enjoyed the film. I did enjoy it. Derry?
I'm going to go with 8 as well. I'm going to take off points for practical effects that could have been done so much better, which I've already said about.
A few there. Mm-hmm.
And honestly, pacing, like you were kept interested the whole time, but it was a little too fast in places. Were just cut.
I think that's on the editing, and like I said, I think there must have been some sort of a B story they were going for here with the
possibly,
man. They just might have cut bits and pieces and so on. But great, wow, that's an average of 7.5.
That's pretty
Teenage
good.
Witches out of 10 Sabrinas.
And interesting fact, Sabrina the Teenage Witch started that year as well.
It's all the witchy season. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. This was a very long podcast. We got 3.5 hours out of this mother. Hey, we needed it. This was an in-depth film. Imagine if we had to talk about something more in-depth.
Yeah, who called Pan's Labyrinth last week?
Yeah, Darren. Pan's Labyrinth.
We can't even get
here until next week.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
I'd have to learn Spanish to start it. So,
okay. Well, I'm going to tell you what my pick for next week is.
No, don't reveal the secret just yet.
Not on air, Darren.
Not on air.
Oh, sorry.
How can we say no when it's on live air?
Exactly. We need to shut you up.
Okay. We're going to put it out. Comment down below if you have any suggestions. Come join us next Monday at the same time. God knows how long we'll be here for next time. But, we're here for as long as it takes to get through the full film and talk about as much as we need.
We're committed, people.
We are committed to talking about films that we find well. And next week is Darren's choice. So tune in. Last time it was Spider-Man. So who knows? What could it be next time?
Spider-Man 2. No,
find out. We're gonna come down to Derry's picture now for a second. It's looking fabulous.
Well, thank you.
And you'll see the full version up on Instagram, most definitely within the next few days. And come find us on Twitch, Twitter. We're on YouTube. What else are we on, Derry?
What did you say? Twitch, Twitter, YouTube.
Twitter, YouTube, yeah.
Facebook, Instagram.
Oh yeah, all the good ones.
Good ones.
come and see us next week, same time, same
bat channel,
same bat, all the bats, all the witches. Sayonara.
Bye.
Bye.